That'll do it for now. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad you got you caught up. I'm Linda Cohn. Let's send you out to Ohio. That's right, Youngstown State and James Madison. Enjoy. We'll see you at the half.
The Division I football championship has returned to Youngstown, Ohio. James Madison, they have arrived, and their Dukes are already up. Youngstown State, well, the Penguins, they're trying to recapture their former glory. Whose season continues and whose season will end tonight. Two of the top teams in the football championship subdivision are matched up tonight here at Stambaugh Stadium. The fifth-ranked Youngstown State Penguins are close to invincible here at the Ice Castle in postseason play. They've used their home field to win 4 national titles. James Madison, the 2004 champs, they know how to win playoff games on the road. Their journey to another title begins tonight. Two teams, hungry and hard-hitting, will finish off a great day of football in the NCAA Division I football championship. The NCAA Division I football championship first round is presented on ESPN2 by Enterprise. Tonight, it's the Atlantic 10's James Madison Dukes against the champions of the Gateway Conference, the Penguins of Youngstown State. And in case you were wondering, NCAA Division I football championship subdivision is the new name for Division I AA. Already, 7 teams in advance to next week's quarterfinals. Earlier today, the top-seeded Appalachian State, they moved on to the quarters. Montana State, that's their next opponent. Illinois State, the Redbirds, they lie in wait for the winner of tonight's game between Youngstown State and James Madison. 2 A-10 rivals are already in the quarters, with UMass and New Hampshire advancing to the round of 8, while Southern Illinois, the Salukis, they live to fight another day. They will take on the Montana Grizzlies a week from today. So glad you could join us here in Youngstown, Ohio, alongside my partner, Kelly Stauffer. I am Eric Collins. Janine Edwards, she will join us in just a couple of moments. Well, folks, if you're looking for pressure on a Saturday night, you will find it here in the Mahoning Valley. This is one of those deals where you win or you go home. One team will advance to the quarters, but Kelly, another team, their season will come to a close after 60 minutes of football.
Yeah, nothing like a sense of urgency, right? But the bottom line is we have a football championship that lets the regular season play out and pick 16 teams to vie for the national championship. That's the way it should be done.
Sounds good to me. And James Madison, they like the way this format works out as well. It was just 2 years ago in 2004 that James Madison, they rode that magic carpet ride all the way to the title game. They took on Montana, and in that game, a tremendous ground attack, capped by their sophomore quarterback, Justin Riscotti, scoring the clinching score. And when it was all said and done, James Madison, the Dukes, they won their first ever national championship. And that man, head coach Mickey Matthews, believe it or not, he says that this year's edition of the Dukes is even better than that year's team 2 years ago.
That can't be good for the rest of the championship bracket. But what also isn't good, the freshmen and sophomores on that championship team are now veteran juniors and seniors, the heart and soul that fully believe they can go the distance once again.
Well, the believers in this game aren't just on the sideline for James Madison. Youngstown State, they've been there and done that as well. Back in the 90s, Jim Tressel, now the head coach at Ohio State, he led the Penguins to 4 national titles. Now, they haven't been to the playoffs since 2000, and this year, if they're going to advance, they're going to have to do it on the ground.
They're in the playoffs because of that ground game, and it's a devastating, demoralizing ground game, and they have to get it going. They have 2 running backs that have to carry the load. The first running back, Marcus Mason, a transfer from Illinois. You can see the yards, enormous numbers he's put up, but he has a bad ankle, and we don't know. He's going to go, but we don't know how effective he can be if he goes. Gibson, 37, also a transfer in from the University of Kentucky. He's going to be the bell cow tonight. You can see the last game of the regular season, he was called on. He carried it 43 times. He was durable. He was productive. He may have to carry the load tonight as well.
Quite a luxury for Youngstown State. They have 2 dynamic ball carriers to rely on. It's the James Madison Dukes of the A-10 against the Penguins of Youngstown State from the Gateway Conference. Coming at you next.
Rated mature. At Samuel Adams, we have 18 award-winning beers. We can't wait to make the next one.
Every year, we bring out a new style of Sam Adams.
And you can try the winning style in our Brewmaster six-pack.
We want to make the best of that style that an American beer drinker can get.
The Philips HD Flat TV with Ambilight is the only flat TV with the power to transform a mood at the touch of a button. Simplicity is a button that transforms television.
Tonight's game is being broadcast on ESPN2 HD, presented by Pioneer Plasma. Welcome back, everyone, to Youngstown, Ohio. We're getting ready for the final first-round game of the Division I Championship. It is coming your way in just moments. But before we get started, let's go down to Janine Edwards. Janine?
Well, Eric, nobody was more surprised by or outspoken about this first-round matchup than James Madison coach Mickey Matthews, who said he was stunned that his sixth-round Dukes would have to travel 300 miles to play the fifth-round Penguins. He said, when you play the schedule we played and beat the people we beat, I think it's very unjustified. But he said, we've put our home jerseys up for the season, and at 7 a.m. on Tuesday, we had a team meeting to get over the frustration. Now, despite James Madison's postseason success on the road, they face a daunting task tonight. This Youngstown State team has won 12 of its 13 playoff games here at home. Eric?
Yeah, Janine, and to put an exclamation point on that, those 12 games that they've won have been in a row here at Stambaugh Stadium, so they know a thing or two about home cooking.
Yeah, I asked Coach Matthews, why don't you see if you can just get those jerseys out again and play all of them on the road? He wasn't buying it.
There's John Haycock, now in his 6th season with Youngstown State. He replaced Jim Trussell in 2001. First 4 seasons, somewhat rocky, but he's figured things out here in the last couple of years. All right, James Madison, Jason Pritchard will kick things away, and Youngstown State, they will receive. DeMichael Horn has the football, tries the left side, and he is met rudely at the 16 and dropped after a return of 11 yards. For Youngstown State, they like to run the football, but they do have a fairly accomplished passer in junior Tom Zetz. Tom Zetz is from Boardman, Ohio, just down the block here from Stambaugh Stadium. He's what they call a winner as a quarterback. Doesn't do anything particularly well, but he wins games on his watch. First carry of the game goes to Marcus Mason. We don't know how much we'll see of Mason, but when he's on the field, he's worth talking about. He is an electric performer. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for Youngstown State. Their backs and receivers. Marcus Mason began his college career playing for the Illinois Fighting Illini. Louis Irizarry, also a big-name recruit. He began his college career at Ohio State. We're talking about the tight end. And up front, the big boys. Not one of those offensive linemen has missed a start so far this year. There's a lot of experience and a lot of stamina with the front wall for the Penguins. Play action fake, and Zetz wants to throw it, has a man complete to T.J. Peterson. And Peterson has a big gainer and a first down for the Penguins.
And Peterson is the go-to guy, and this is what they're going to have to do. Youngstown State runs the ball, play action pass, and throwing the football is an absolute necessity if they want to score points tonight.
Scored a pickup of 15 yards for Peterson, the senior from Fort Lauderdale. He's their big play man in the passing attack. Marcus Mason still in the game as the single setback behind Zetz. He's got the ball. This is second carry. Has his feet taken out from underneath him, and he's dropped at the 37-yard line. Paul Minifield with the tackle. Let's take a look defensively for James Madison. This is how they line up. front four, very good on the year. 47 sacks as a team for James Madison. That's a regular season record. A big reason why the front four. Akeem Jordan, he was the defensive player of the year in the A-10 this season. And in the defensive backfield, 5 men back there. Minifield just made that last tackle. He's an all-conference performer. And Tony Lazat, 3 times in his first 3 years in the Atlantic 10, he has been an all-Atlantic 10 performer. So he has got a nice resume going. Zetz wants to throw on 2nd and long. Has a man, pass complete. Another first down for the Penguins. This time on the catch is Rory Berry.
With Youngstown State wanting to run the football, they're going to do this from time to time more as maintenance plays in a changeup. Spread it out a little bit, go shotgun with Zetz and let him throw the football. They have to get just enough out of their passing game to keep 8 or 9 guys out of the box, which James Madison wants to do all night long, Eric.
You think of Youngstown State and you think of that great ground attack. Maybe not tonight. Zetz to the ground. Mason, his 3rd carry, and once again bottle up after a pickup of 2, maybe 3. Last couple of years, it's basically been 50-50 for John Haycock's bunch in terms of pass run. But this go-around, they've been very heavy on the running attack, and it's been successful.
Yeah, and Brian Wright, the offensive coordinator, said basically we will do whatever we have to do. The bottom line is what they want to do is power football to demoralize and wear the opponent out, but they've been able to throw it when they have to throw it. They've done it successfully.
Mason with the carry. Pickup of a couple. It'll bring up a 3rd down and probably 3. That's a pickup of 4 yards.
And Eric, really what we're going to see playing out is Youngstown State wants to run the football with a power running game. Generally a couple of tight ends, throw a big fullback behind them, and just pound away, throw enough to be successful. James Madison runs really a 3-4, kind of an 8-man front type of look, or a 4-2-5 it really is. And they traditionally have 8 to 9 guys in the box, run or stop the run and force this team to throw the football tonight.
3rd down and 4. Zetz tosses it out, pass complete, 1st down and more. McQuante Gibson dreaming, brought down at the 6-yard line. Big play for the Penguins, a pickup of 43.
Well, this is exactly what Gibson is used for. This is a design throw to Gibson 37 from the get-go. Kind of a speed, quick screen on the swing pass, and then it's just his skill in the open space almost takes it to the house. But that's a matchup that I want to see play out tonight. I think the athletes and the speed from what I saw on tape really is on James Madison's side. That's where Youngstown State has to prove that they can match up. Skill position players.
Gibson's gone out. Mason replaces him in the backfield, and Mason lowers his head, gets inside the 5, and is brought down at the 3. On the stop, the safety, Tony Lazat, first man to meet him.
The other thing that we didn't get a good look at on that replay is Peterson, the go-to wide receiver, is also the motion man that they formation with because he's a tremendous blocker. He had a great block that sprung Gibson on that play right there.
All right, folks, this will be telling early in this game. Youngstown State, they think that they're a more physical team than James Madison.
We'll talk more about that as this night plays out.
Mason with the carry. Close to the goal line, Akeem Jordan brings him down, and that's going to be at the 1-yard line.
Red zone scoring is obviously very important. It's the touchdowns when you get down there. You can get down to the red zone all you want, but look at the 71%. That's when Youngstown State has gotten it in the end zone, and they're also tremendous on red zone defense. So James Madison is going to have to step it up on both sides of the ball in the red zone.
Mason, the deep back. Irizarry, the tight end, in motion. They give it to Mason, and he scores standing up. Youngstown State, they draw first blood, a 1-yard touchdown run for Marcus Mason.
Marcus Mason is the nimble-footed back. And this is what he has tremendous vision, and vision is everything on the goal line. There's a lot of times when there isn't any running room, but vision, he had the chance to bounce it outside first and foremost because he saw it outside.
Ryan Palmer, the extra point, no problem. And how about that? Youngstown State, they start on offense, and they go 84 yards, capped by a 1-yard Marcus Mason touchdown run. James Madison, they get a chance to answer when we come back.
The LG Skins Game, tomorrow 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
Multiply your possibilities. Introducing Intel Core 2 Duo, the world's best processors.
The Philips Norelco Smart Touch XL adjusts to your face for a closer shave with 50% more shaving surface and 3 shaving rings in each shaving head. Philips Norelco, the world's best-selling electric shaver. Simplicity is making every stroke count.
You really should take NyQuil for that cold. Sorry. You'll sleep late?
Like before you sign us up for this reality show?
Yeah.
NyQuil, cold relief for a great night's sleep.
Fill up at mycokerewards.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Stambaugh Stadium. And well, right now, the band for Youngstown State enjoying what they're seeing. 7-0 lead. They had the ball, and all they did was basically go the length of the field. 84 yards in 10 plays. Zetz was fantastic, 3 for 3, 66 yards on that drive. And they cap it off with a touchdown.
Yeah, that's a good drive at any point in time in the game, but when it's your first drive of the game, that's a tone setter right there. They can get a lot of mileage off a drive like that early.
So the Dukes will have to come out fighting here. First time they get the ball. Youngstown State out of the Gateway. They won the Gateway Conference this year. James Madison from the Atlantic 10. Scotty McGee takes it from inside the 5, and McGee, he's got a chance down the left side. Cutting back McGee, thinking about it. Does he have the speed? Touchdown, James Madison! How about that for an answer? Officially, 100 yards on that return.
Nothing like not taking a long time to answer back, right? That was tremendous. John Haycock, the head coach for Youngstown State, said special teams will be vital. I think he was hoping that it would be in his favor.
It's now been downgraded. It's just 99 yards on the kickoff return for touchdown. David Rabel caps it off with an extra point, and just like that, hope you didn't blink, folks. It's a 7-7 tie.
And it was tremendously well blocked. Look, there isn't a hand on McGee after he gets to that wall, and he even has an escort clear down to the other end of the field. But make no mistake about it, James Madison has been good at this phase of the game the entire season. Look to the right side on your screen. Right there, once he makes the first wave miss, then it's all about speed and then the cut back across the field and taking it to the end zone. James Madison has been making a living on this entire 2006 season.
Well, it was worth the wait for Scotty McGee. That is his first career touchdown. Redshirt freshman from Virginia Beach.
Wow.
Picks a fine time to put 6 on the board.
Yeah, remember that sense of urgency. Even the freshmen. You know, even the freshmen are awake tonight. Sometimes you don't know about those guys. What a contribution early in this game.
Youngstown State, it took them 5 minutes and 21 seconds to get their touchdown. It took Scotty McGee 20 seconds to go from goal line to goal line. But James Madison scored. All right, let's see if Youngstown State, see if they can match. To Michael Horn with this return. And Horn thinking about it. Brought down at the 29-yard line. Return of 22 yards.
We talked about that 10-play drive, and the thing that's noticeable is the passing in run downs. That's what's vital for this team right now. Youngstown State throw on run downs and then run on throwing downs. And then Gibson, the quick screen, the tremendous blocking, he takes it down, and then Mason cashes it in right at the end. If they can get mileage out of Mason tonight, it's just going to be icing on the cake, but he wasn't expected to be very effective with that bad ankle.
Well, John Haycock, he has his two tailbacks in the game right now, Mason and Gibson, both next to Zetz in the backfield. And Zetz wants to throw. He's now a perfect 4 for 4 as Peterson, his second catch of the game, a pickup of 14 yards on first down.
And once again, 1st and 10, normally with Youngstown State, that's a very run-heavy down to get in that 2nd and 3rd and manageable, drop back and throw the football. When you get to this point in time in the season, Eric, it's all about breaking tendencies and taking the strength away from your opponent, and by throwing on normally run downs, Youngstown State is doing that to Madison right now.
There's Brian Wright, the offensive coordinator. He's calling the shots on the sideline. He decides to hand things off. Mason with the carry. And Mason, hard to bring down, gets out to the 47-yard line. Pickup of 3.
We talked about that offensive line, Eric, at the top. They've started every game. On the offensive line, continuity is king. And when you can start the entire season together, this is where you begin to have that payoff, because it's about sorting out looks and different looks that they're going to get out of James Madison's defense tonight.
Man in motion is the fullback, Ben Lane. Zetz again wants to throw, and for the first time tonight, he's incomplete. He's looking for Rory Berry. Pass sails high and outside. Bring up a 3rd down and long.
And Eric, I think that needs to be the game plan if you're James Madison. Keep Zetz in the pocket. He's kind of a Doug Flutie type of guy. He's much better throwing on the run, at least Doug was at the college level, and that's the way Zetz appears on film. If he's moving his feet, he gets a better look because he's not a real big quarterback. That's when he's more accurate.
3rd down at 7. Irizarry in motion. Zetz out of the pocket. Flags fly. He's going to keep it himself. He's got it up for the first down if this play stands up. So we'll have to sort this one out. This is the first flag on the play. Today's referee is Jeff Heiser for the Southern Conference. Talking things over.
Formation generally means they only have 7 guys, or actually 6 guys, on the line of scrimmage. One of the 2 wide receivers at the top has to get down to the line. You have a tight end, you have the 5 offensive linemen. One of those wide receivers has to move up about 1.5 yards.
So a mental mistake for Brian Wright's team. They're going to have to try and convert a 3rd down and 12. This is not the situation that the Penguins like to be in. Zetz again out of the pocket, has time. Pass is incomplete, but we may have an interference ball. Looking for T.J. Peterson, and a flag flies at the 20-yard line.
Zetz once again move him out of the pocket. got a little pressure, but Adams, the defensive back covering the wide receiver Peterson, he simply just needed to turn and find the football. It was tremendous coverage, but you can build a wide receiver out if you don't turn and find the football in the air.
15 yards, automatic first down.
Nick Adams called for the interference. We are here in Youngstown, Ohio. NCAA Division I championship. This is the final first-round game of the day. Alongside Kelly Stauffer, I'm Aaron Collins. Janine Edwards, who's also with us. She's down on the field. So far, Youngstown State has had the ball for 6:40, and they have 7 points. James Madison, they've had the ball for 20 seconds, and they have 7 points. James Madison working a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Scotty McGee. Mason, stutter step, and he's going nowhere. He's brought down for a loss. First man to get to him, Marcus Haywood on the stop. Loss of 2. Kelly, that's something they do well. James Madison, they like to shoot the gaps, and they have a lot of sacks and tackles for losses.
Yeah, that's really the essence of their defensive scheme. They run a 4-2-5. Basically what that is in layman's terms, it's an 8-man front. They play a lot of times with a couple of safeties, only 2 linebackers, so they really have safeties. And the reason they do that is flexibility. They can get them down to the line of scrimmage and do, Eric, what you just said, shoot the gaps, create negative plays.
Take the handoff to Mason. Sets, fires, complete. Again, Peterson, the man he's looking for, and this time a pickup of 19 yards. Peterson off to a great start. He's got 3 catches.
What we're seeing right now is the softness. Number 20 right there is Aaron McAuliffe. His health was a question mark coming into this game, and you can see there wasn't a lot of confidence to close the cushion on Peterson and force him to make a move. That's way too easy for a quarterback and receiver that have worked together a lot in their careers.
Zet's already with 100 yards passing. 3 of his 5 completions have gone to T.J. Peterson. Peterson in motion. 1st and 10. Another play-action pass. This time into coverage. Pass complete to Peterson again. His 4th grab. With more on the quarterback for Youngstown State. Let's go down to Janine. Janine, what's going on?
Well, Eric, you really can't tell because he's wearing his helmet, but Tom Zetz wanted to change his luck after the Northern Iowa game on October 21st when he threw a career-high 4 interceptions, so he shaved his head. And his numbers have been very good since then, especially in his own running game. And on the flip side of that, his offensive tackle, Patrick Walker, number 68, he hasn't cut his hair in a year in protest of not making it to the playoffs last year.
A Samson story and a reverse Samson story. Zetz a little bit low, had a man wide open, and Gibson may have had a touchdown. I think he gets hands on that football.
Absolutely. Minifield is a safety, but they've moved him. James Madison has moved him back to corner. That time, he dropped coverage. Obviously a blown assignment by Minifield, who was supposed to be standing right out there with Gibson if Zetz just gets the ball up about another foot. Minifield is one of the adjustments that they've had to make on the run. He's normally a safety. He's right now out playing the wide receiver at corner.
3rd and 7. Zetz under pressure. Running out of time. Throws it away. James Madison sideline. They want an intentional grounding, but there's no flag on the field.
James Madison tries to get teams in long down and distance. That's where all the sacks come, just like this. They give them a blitz look. Very fortunate that this wasn't called grounding. A receiver was in the area, because the other thing, outside the tackle box, that ball has to go beyond the line of scrimmage, which that ball did not do right there.
So Youngstown State, they'll have to settle for the field goal attempt. They have a great history of fantastic kickers here in Youngstown. Ryan Palmer will attempt a 40-yard field goal. And Palmer, plenty of leg, no problem at all. Splits the upright. And again, Youngstown State on top. 2 drives, 2 scores for the Penguins. A touchdown their first time, a field goal here. Let's see if James Madison can answer when we come back.
Enterprise rental car for the game.
Yeah, they pick us up. Free.
Free pickup. They ought to be number 1.
They are number 1.
So if Enterprise is number 1, why don't they have these?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Rated mature.
Okay.
Go. Yes! Yes! Verizon Wireless is going to have a buy one, get one free razor sale this weekend. I'm going to get a razor with VCAS and navigation system. And I get another one free!
I wish for $1 million in world peace.
Get your wish at the Verizon Wireless Buy One Razor, Get One Free sale. Buy one fully loaded Moto Razor for just $49.99 and get the second one free. Hurry, only 2 days left. The best gifts come with the network. Verizon Wireless.
Capital One's Fur Factor.
Mascots. Who can survive a pack of vicious dogs from Beverly Hills? They're scary enough on the ground, but absolutely terrifying when they're 200 feet up. Hey, where's Wildcat? Vote for your favorite mascot at CapitalOneBowl.com. Then watch the Capital One Bowl to see who wins.
What's in your wallet?
The NCAA Championships on ESPN. The NCAA Division I Football Championship presented on ESPN2 by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. And in part by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Welcome back, everyone, to Youngstown, Ohio. Here in the Mahoning Valley, close to the Pennsylvania border, northeast Ohio. James Madison, they made the pilgrimage up from Harrisonburg, Virginia, to take on the vaunted Penguins of Youngstown State, who have won 4 national championships in the last 15 years. This time, a short kickoff. Fair catch called for. James Madison will take over on the 29-yard line. Let's go back to the college football studio and Linda Cohn. Linda?
All right, Eric, over on ESPN, Wake Forest is playing Maryland at College Park. And Keon Lattimore, a 13-yard touchdown run for Lattimore's first TD in 6 games, put Maryland up 7-0 against Wake Forest in the first. The winner here plays Georgia Tech in the ACC title game.
Linda, thank you so much. Obviously a huge game in the ACC, but a very big game here as well. Final first-round matchup. NCAA Football Division Football Championship. First offensive play of the game for James Madison and the Dukes. They give it to Eugene Holloman. And Holloman down the right side. Huge gainer. Finally brought down by Dorian Chenault. 25-yard pickup.
And Holloman is a home run hitter, has great vision, good speed, but it's interesting, the lineup, the personnel that James Madison comes out in is the physical personnel that Youngstown State is known for. Kind of a taste of their own medicine, but Holloman is that guy. He has the home run hit ability. They will have to get a track on him all night long.
Holloman is a junior college transfer. The thinking around the Dukes coaching staff is that this is first year in the program. They're going to redshirt.
Right. Kind of the 2-for-3 type of thing, but they didn't. He emerged as that guy. Some injuries, some suspensions that we will talk about as the night goes on, and before long, he's their guy.
Atlantic 10 player. First team All-Atlantic 10 as the tailback this season. Scotty wants to throw. Pass is complete. D.D. Boxley, hard to bring down. Out to the 25-yard line for Darren Jackson. Jumps on his back and brings him down, but not before a pickup of 19 tough yards. Well, a lot of impact players for James Madison. We're going to talk about 2 offensively and 2 defensively. With Scotty, the quarterback, he's been there and done that. He was the signal caller when they won the championship 2 years ago. We've talked about Holloman, but defensively, there's some guys who can affect the game as well.
Yeah, Jordan is that guy from the linebacker position, but keep an eye on Lazat. He's the safety that fills the alley very aggressively. He will probably have some big hits tonight.
Fresh set of downs. Holloman, his second carry. Nice gain on first down. He's inside the 20. Jeff Koval with a stop but a pickup of 7. Let's take a look at the overall lineups for James Madison. This is their backs and receivers. On offense, they average 32 points per game, and that is 9th best in the country. We've talked about Holloman. Will Patrick will lead the way the majority of the time for him from the fullback spot. Offensive line, with their left tackle Corey Davis, that's their bell cow. They like to run left side. He's a 4-year starter, and this year a first-team All-Atlantic 10 performer. 2nd and 3, a lot of different opportunities for the Dukes here. They stay on the ground. Holloman I think he may have had his face mask nicked on his way through. He's close enough to the first down as is. I guess the only question is this a 5-yard face mask penalty, or is this the personal foul variety? It would be 15.
Face mask. Defense. Number 97. 5 yards. First down.
So it's just the 5-yard variety.
This is the same play they ran earlier, right there. The 5-yard variety, just because he let go.
Let's take a look at Youngstown State defensively. They run a standard issue 3-4. Savage, Phelan, and Jacobs up front. Linebackers, big story. Number 56, James Terry, didn't start their last game against Western Kentucky with an ankle injury, but he's back in the lineup today. He is a difference maker. Holloman inside the 10, close to the 5 before he's brought down by Bob Harris. Secondary for Youngstown State. This is how they line up, and the quarterback to keep an eye on is number 1, Jason Perry, senior from Warrensville Heights, just outside of Cleveland. He has got 4 interceptions on the year. 2 of those he's taken back for touchdowns.
Isn't that the definition of a playmaker? We talked to him yesterday, a very articulate young guy, and even in the meeting, very energetic. He's the vocal and emotional leader of this entire football team.
Hard to do from your cornerback spot, but I guess he's got a big voice.
Well, and it's hard to do when you're only about $150 as well.
JMU knocking on the door. 2nd down and 5, and before the play gets underway, a flag comes out. This may march the Dukes back 5 yards.
Prior to the snap. Delay a game. Offense. Number 11, 5 yards. Still 2nd down.
A lot of teams, most every team in college football, use a lot of different personnel groupings, and that time James Madison had a difficult time deciding what group they wanted to use their first trip in the red zone, because they've both been going real big, real physical out in the field, and in the red zone it looked like they wanted to get more of their fast package in the game.
Well, now they switch personnel as they have to march back to the 11-yard line. And a timeout is called. The senior Justin Rascotti didn't like what he saw, and JMU, they call timeout, and they're going to talk things over on the sideline. So, timeout on the field, we'll take it with them. James Madison knocking on the door, trying to answer the score by Youngstown State.
I love drinking Guinness while playing poker. I've also discovered that wearing sunglasses makes it harder for people to see what you're thinking. I'm going to bluff now. Brilliant.
Enjoy Guinness Draft responsibly.
Brilliant.
Introducing Wendy's Double Melt. In the middle, there's pepper jack, cheddar sauce, bacon, and jalapenos. With every double melt, receive $1 on a gift card. For flavor where it counts, do what tastes right.
Saturday. Nothing to complain about, unless you're working, in which case, we hope you're complaining. But cheer up, because it's only 2 days till Donald Driver takes on Darryl Jackson as the Packers clash with the Seahawks at 8:30.
Be ready. Be ready. Green flag, green flag.
We need a law firm for any reason. There are many considerations.
But there are 2 that matter more than most.
First, have you ever heard of the firm? Do you know anyone who's used them?
And most importantly, do they win and get good settlements for their clients?
After all, it's your legal problem and you want to win.
Maybe that's why people turn to Beatrice Harshman.
The bottom line is winning.
And winning is what you want.
It's the fall inventory clearance event at Sweeney's. Hey folks, I'm Tom Park, and if you've waited for the perfect time to buy or lease a new Chevrolet, now's the time, and the place is Sweeney's. You can lease a brand new Trailblazer for as low as $128 a month, a new 07 Impala for $199 a month, or an 07 Cobalt for $183 a month. And there are over 1,000 available. Don't miss the fall inventory clearance event at Sweeney's, a mile south of Southern Park Mall, Boardman.
Welcome back, everyone. After the timeout, James Madison already getting close to the line of scrimmage. They have already figured out what they want to do. This is a very important down. Second down and 10 and 11. Want to make this manageable and get on the scoreboard. Rascotti calls his own number. He's got room left side. Touchdown! That was too easy. 11-yard touchdown run for the senior from Gainesville, Florida.
Remember the first two running plays to Holloman. This is the play action set up by those two running plays. Absolutely no contain outside, and Rascotti can do just that. He's very nimble-footed for a 6'4", 225-pound quarterback.
Extra point, up and good. So combined in the first 12 minutes of this game, we've got 24 points. Who would have thought it? Winner moves on to the round of 8. Loser goes home. A lot on the line. We'll be back in a moment.
Over the last 100 years, millions of NCAA student athletes have gone pro in something other than sports.
The echo in the gym. The squeak of the shoes. The buzzer. The brick. The whistle. The crowd. Swish. I left the game, but it'll never leave me.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us are going pro in something other than sports.
Well, if you like offense, not a bad start to this one. 24 points in the first 12 minutes. James Madison, 2 touchdowns on their first 2 possessions. Well, tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, right here on ESPN2, the defending national champion, Florida Gators, got a big early season test as they are at the Las Vegas Invitational. They take on Bill Self's 12th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks. The Las Vegas Invitational is part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's on ESPN2. That's tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern Time.
And speaking of offense, those two teams can get up and down the floor just a little bit.
I don't know. Are they going to have 24 points in the first 12 minutes? Probably.
Yeah.
They probably will. Jason Pritchard kicks off one more time. Calling for it. And with the return, that's Josh Kaysen, the senior. Out across the 30, close to the 35. Big return, 32 yards. Janine, what's going on down to the sideline?
Well, Eric and Callie, I'm sure you remember when we were talking to James Madison coach Mickey Matthews and we asked him what's impressed him about quarterback Rascotti, and he said to us, how much time do you have? He said he thinks he's the best offensive player in the country, and he told us, I haven't seen anybody that I would trade him for. And Coach Matthews doesn't necessarily like the fact that some of the awards that are given out have a heavy emphasis on yardage. He says these kids can't get any honors unless they're ranking up huge yards.
He's a winner. He's won more games than anyone else in the history of quarterbacks than James Madison. So if you're counting that statistical category,
yeah,
he wins hands down.
You know, there ought to be an award about the quarterback that wins the most, because in the end, that's what you're judged by, right? I mean, how much you win, and he has a national championship notched on his belt already.
Scotty began his college career playing for the Louisville Cardinals. Had a redshirt year there and played his redshirt freshman year before transferring here to James Madison. They're happy to have him. Second down and 10. Zetz wants to throw, has a man, another big gainer. Harry with the catch down across the 50 to the 43-yard line.
This is just a little bit too easy. Once again, Zetz getting outside to get a better look at the play, but right now, James Madison are having issues in the secondary coverage-wise. They've had to move some guys around, and they don't have a beat on what Youngstown State is doing. Youngstown State is having way too easy of a time throwing on rundowns.
On first down this time, they go to the ground, and on a keeper, Zetz picks up a couple down the left side, out close to the 40-yard line. Kelly, I guess we should note that the head coach for Youngstown State, John Haycock, he learned from Jim Tressel, who's done fantastic things at Ohio State. And Tressel, one of the things he's known for is unpredictability in big games. Yeah. That's what we're seeing right now with Youngstown State.
Absolutely. It's about breaking tendencies, and Tressel is incredibly good at that. You never know what Ohio State's game plan is going to look like from week to week, and you see that out of Youngstown State this evening.
Gibson back into the game, carries across the 40, upended at the 39-yard line. Pickup of 2. Clock winding down, end of the first quarter, and that'll do it. First 15 minutes are in the books, and right now we're in for a dogfight. The Youngstown State Penguins, they're feeling good that they're at home, but they're not feeling good that they're trailing James Madison by 4.
Thanks for Sunday NFL Countdown. Their motto is Team First. We'll examine the Patriot way.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
And find out who Steve McNair's biggest fan is.
McMahon, he's the top of the line.
Plus, Tiki, Jake, and LT, how fantasy football is a part of their reality.
Everywhere I go, LT, I need 3 touchdowns this week, please. Like I have control over it.
Sunday NFL Countdown presented by IBM, 11 a.m. on ESPN.
So, Peter, what's happening? Now, are you going to go ahead and have those TPS reports for us this afternoon?
No. In fact, look, I'm going to have to ask you to go ahead and let's come back another time. I got a meeting with the Bobs in a couple of minutes.
Somewhere else you'd rather be? Join over 7 million players in an online world of legendary adventure. World of Warcraft. Try it for free at warcraft.com. Rated T for teen.
Ah, yeah.
Find the perfect gift at Zales 1 Carat Sale, now through Sunday. Save $300 on this diamond heart pendant, now just $199. Find the perfect gift at Zales, the diamond store.
Shearing, enemy of engines. Enemy of shearing? Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic with adaptive molecules that continually separate and reform to help conquer the forces that can tear oil molecules apart. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Oh, you're home early.
What's the point? Everyone's giving all those great gifts from Home Depot this year. Oh, where's the remote? This year, the Home Depot is the place for great gifts, like a Magic Chef wine cooler for just $79.99, or a Charm Glow gas grill with side burner for $199. Only at the Home Depot.
At GNC this holiday season, living well means giving the gift of health. You'll save up to 50% on our widest assortment of nutritional supplements, plus holiday fitness and wellness gifts. As your leading source for health and wellness, we believe that a healthy holiday starts from within. Give good health. Live well.
That's a shot of University Hall here on the campus of Youngstown State. Youngstown State is the only Division I program that has a penguin for a mascot.
You think?
I can guarantee you that that is the case. All right, 3rd down and 5. Youngstown State after the quarter break, what do they come out with? It is a pass pass to the tight end, Irizarry, and he's going to be close to first down yards. It's going to depend on the spot.
They're going to give it to him. You know, on 3rd and 6 is normally that down and distance where James Madison gets after the quarterback. They're playing coverage right there. Irizarry gets into the flat and picks up just enough. But right now, Youngstown State is effective at what supposedly is their weakness, which is throwing the football. They're throwing in what are normally run downs, and they're getting the best of James Madison's defense right now.
Zetz again in the shotgun formation. Tight end Max King in motion. They fake to Mason. Zetz has his pass batted down. Good defensive play. Hakeem Jordan showing why he's the Atlantic 10 Defensive Player of the Year.
And what you saw to Hakeem Jordan, he is the contain on the quarterback. And watch how quickly he's up inside, and then it's the angle to the quarterback to knock the football down. He has contained, and he was in a pretty precarious position up inside in that line of scrimmage.
Those numbers for Jordan this year just off the charts of what he had his first 3 years. 126 tackles, by far and away the most of his career and the most on the Dukes team this year. Gibson with the carry, picks up just a couple of yards inside the 30. Well, a reminder that you can catch the NCAA Division I Football Championship live on ESPN2. The road to Chattanooga to crown the national champion begins at 8 Eastern Time on Friday, December 15th.
There ought to be a road to every national championship.
I think we understand
just
where
like
you
this
come
one.
from.
Do you understand that? This is the template for it right here.
3rd down and 8. Penguins need to get inside the 23-yard line. Flag before the play gets off. And there's a hit that was uncalled for. I'm not sure if Marcus Haywood heard that whistle. Haywood came in there with his hair on fire. I don't think he knew that play was stopped. It looks to be a delay of game penalty. The penalties may offset now. Wow, that's a break for Youngstown State.
Prior to the snap, delay a game, offense. Also, we have personal foul against the defense. 15 yards, first down.
Should make myself clear, because it's a personal foul, those cannot be offsetting.
Listen to it in live right here. I don't know. When a defender is coming clean on the blitz and the quarterback, I mean, how does the defender right there, Haywood, know? The quarterback is dropping back. That's what a quarterback looks like when he drops back and hits his last step. But you have to protect the student athlete. The referees did a nice job right there. The hard part for James Madison, it's a play that never should have happened.
So they get the first down to the Penguins. Ball now on the 24-yard line. Zetz again to throw on first down. Wants a touchdown. Pass incomplete. Looking for Berry. Pass sails out of the end zone. Youngstown State, they are not playing close to the vest. They're pulling out all the tricks right now. We thought this was going to be a grinded out game for the Penguins, but up against James Madison, a very good team out of the Atlantic 10. They're leaving it all on the table. Alongside Kelly Stoffrom, Eric Collins, Janine Edwards also here working the sidelines. So far, so good through the air for the Penguins. 132 yards of passing so far. Mason with the carry. Struggles forward, finally stopped at about the 17-yard line.
Eric, a while back you made the comparison with Haycock and Tressel. You know, Tressel did that. He was flexible and went to this spread option type of offense with Troy Smith because you have the athletes to do it. He's very good at doing that from game to game and changing the game plan. Youngstown State is doing a masterful job thus far. A run-heavy team, they're spreading it out and throwing very effectively.
there's a timeout on the field. There's an injury. James Madison has a defender down. There's John Haycock, and the man that he learned from is Jim Tressel. Now, Jim Tressel, a very strong influence on this program. He spent 15 years working the sidelines for the Penguins, and in those 15 years, he went to 6 1AA championship games, winning 4 of them, 91, 93, 94, and 1997. Jim Tressel left after the 2000 season. In that 2000 season, his defensive coordinator was John Haycock, and he handed over the reins to Mr. Haycock after 2000.
And Coach Haycock is trying to chart his own course, but the difference is championships. The Tressel talk will go away a little bit further when Youngstown State wins some championships under Haycock, just like Tressel did.
John Baranowski had to leave the game for James Madison. He's replaced by Sam Daniels on the defensive line. 3rd down and 7. Zetz, fastball, complete. Inside the 10, close to the 6-yard line. Gibson out of the backfield picks up the 1st down.
And Gibson comes out of the backfield and matches up on 19, McGee, a running back on a corner. McGee should win this, a little bit too soft. You don't want to give up the 1st down marker on 3rd down. You want to force the throw in front of the marker and tackle the football.
Zetz now with 142 yards through the air. He's 9 for 14. This is not what we expected. 1st and goal, ball on the 6. Again to the skies. Zetz with time, back in the end zone, incomplete, looking for Peterson. All right, we figured out what Youngstown State wants to do.
Tell me about it.
We figured out what they want to do. JMU, the Dukes defensively, what's their answer?
It's hard to tell right now because, one, they're getting the quarterback out of the pocket, so the sack factor really doesn't come into play, which is James Madison's biggest weapon. And right now, Youngstown State is so effective at throwing on rundowns. That's the key. James Madison just doesn't have an answer in the secondary.
Mason runs it left side, inside the 5 to the 3. We'll catch a special edition of the NBA on ESPN tomorrow night as Elton Brand and the LA Clippers take on Carmelo Anthony and the Denver Nuggets. And the Nuggets regain their winning touch and defeat the team who knocked them from the playoffs last spring. An NBA Sunday special edition on ESPN at 8 Eastern time. That's tomorrow night. It's also available in high definition on ESPN HD. Brian Wright, the offensive coordinator for the Penguins. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve on 3rd and goal from the 4. Gibson wants to throw, wide open, touchdown, Rory Berry. Folks, anything goes when you're trying to advance to the round of 8.
This is a great play call to the pitch to Gibson. Let that fast, athletic defense react to the quick pitch and then throw it over the top of that reaction to Berry. Great play call, great execution.
Palmer. Extra point caps off a fantastic drive for Youngstown State. Rory Berry, his 2nd touchdown of the year. On Quante Gibson, his 1st touchdown pass ever. That makes Brian Wright a happy man.
Enterprise Rent-A-Car for the game.
Yeah, they pick us up. Free.
Free pickup. They ought to be #1.
They are #1.
So if Enterprise is #1, why don't they have these?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
The Philips Norelco Smart Touch XL adjusts to your face for a closer shave with 50% more shaving surface and 3 shaving rings in each shaving head. Philips Norelco, the world's best-selling electric shaver. Simplicity is making every stroke count.
You are black, even a little dandruff shows.
That's why more people are switching from ordinary dandruff shampoo to Selsun Blue, doctor recommended for flakes and itch, with aloe and moisturizers for healthier hair and scalp. Make the switch.
Never wear black without the blue. Selsun Blue.
closed captioning for selective programming is brought to you by Unlimited Footwear by Mark Echo.
Unlimited Footwear by Mark Echo.
Maybe the head coach for Maine.
Bruised Brett Favre looks to keep his NFL record starting streak intact against the coach who helped make him a star, who gets his Pro Bowl quarterback back. Matt Hasselbeck and the Seahawks take on Green Bay at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN's Monday Night Football.
Welcome back, everyone, to Youngstown, Ohio, and the Penguins back up on top. This has been a seesaw affair. Already 31 points have been scored in this one, and we're just getting started in the second quarter. John Haycock walking a little bit taller. His team has scored all 3 times they've touched the football. Most recently, 4-yard touchdown pass. McQuante Gibson to T.J. Peterson on the return. Out across the 20-yard line. That is where James Madison will start this drive, a return of 15 yards. Let's go back to the college football studio and Linda Cohn. Linda.
All right, from one big game to another. This one on ABC in LA, USC and Notre Dame. John David Booty hooking up with Dwayne Jarrett. 9-yard TD pass, 4 straight game with a touchdown for Jarrett. Trojans on the board first, 7-0, Eric.
Linda, thank you so much. That is a big one.
Yeah, and I think that's a very tough matchup for Notre Dame's defense against John Booty, who's had a year to, most of the year to get settled in.
In case you're wondering, that's a BCS standings. That's not accurate. Youngstown State is not actually number 2 behind Ohio State, but I'm sure the people here in Youngstown would like to believe that to be the case. This has been a fantastic November for teams in Ohio. Ohio State, of course, has been running the table. Youngstown State, a fantastic year. Cincinnati, some big wins in recent weeks.
No question about it. Great place to be in November, right?
Second down and 2. Eugene Holloman behind the big fullback. And Holloman with the football. Brought down before he can get to the first down. Rashad Cotton with a good stop. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 1. Well, this is what happened last week in the state of Ohio at the Horseshoe. Michigan fell to the Ohio State Buckeyes in what was the game of the year thus far. But also game with Ohio ties. How about the Cincinnati Bearcats falling or taking down the Rutgers Scarlet Knights? For Rutgers, their first loss of the year. Mark D'Antonio's bunch feeling very good about themselves. The Buckeye State doing very well for the last 7 days. 3rd and short, and the first down is picked up by Holloman. Good tough running off the left side.
I like the game within the game that's playing out right now. James Madison is looking like Youngstown State. Youngstown State offensively is looking like James Madison, willing to put the ball in the air. Riscottian boys are getting physical up front. You would expect that out of the Gateway team in Youngstown State, right?
That's the stereotype. This Gateway Conference football is grinded out, smash mouth football. But I think the Atlantic 10 is a little bit tougher than people think. At least they'd like you to believe that they are. Scotty under pressure, squeezes it out, pass incomplete. Would have been only a pickup of a couple of yards. Marvin Brown can't make the catch.
Number 38, Marty Hutchinson, playing that middle linebacking position. Has played with the cast most of the year, has it off tonight, did a great job of following that tight end across on that play action pass. Sometimes that's hard for a defense to respond when a team has been running the ball well, which James Madison has been effective, and then to react out of that in play action. That was a great job by Hutchinson.
Alvin Banks is checked into the game in the backfield for James Madison. They pitch it out to him. And Banks, nowhere to go, brought down at the 33-yard line. Good defensive play by the Penguins.
No matter how an offense gets to the option, it's about assignment football. Someone take the quarterback, they had that covered, and then it's rally to the pitch man. There was absolutely nothing there for Banks, but if I'm running the option, I want Holloman as my pitch man. He's that guy with speed. He can get quickly to the edge and has a little bit more shiftiness in his feet.
All right, 3rd down and 9, obvious passing down. Rascotti has only attempted 2 passes so far today. 5 receivers in the game. Play clock winding down. They're not going to get it off. Another delay of game penalty.
Prior to the snap, delay of game. Offense, 5 yards. Remains 3rd down.
Now, Rascotti was trying to do too much on the line of scrimmage. Quarterback always have to be aware of the play clock. Remember when we walked around in here yesterday, I said, where are the play clocks? Every stadium I ever went in, the quarterback coach would say, where are your play clocks? Rascotti has been caught a couple of times not being aware of his play clocks.
So instead of 3rd and 9, we got 3rd and 14. Rascotti, little dink, and they're going to get the 1st down. Mike Clausen, the backup tight end, with the catch and run, and that's going to move the chains. A pickup of 18. Let's get another update with USC and Notre Dame. Linda, what's going on?
Okay, Eric, over on ABC, it's the same hookup. John David Booty again to Dwayne Jarrett. Jarrett's 2nd touchdown of this game. His first multi-touchdown game since September 16th. 24th TD pass for Booty, guys.
Well, if anyone's going to come back, I like my chances with Brady Quinn and Jeff Samardzija. Thank you, Linda. All right, fresh set of downs. They complete the 3rd and 14, get the 1st down. And on this carry, Holloman, a pickup of 1 before Jeff Koval with the stop. Koval, one of those great stories you hear every once in a while. Koval is the guy who didn't play his first 2 years in college. Koval was actually just a student here at Youngstown State. Didn't even play football, didn't want to, and then a couple of years ago decided that he wanted to give it a try, went out for the team, made the team, and got a scholarship to boot. Rascotti throws that one away, I think, or maybe he thought someone was going to sig when they really zagged. For more on Koval, let's go down to Janine. Janine, what do you have?
Well, Eric, Jeff Koval does have 40 tackles this season. You don't want to mess with him or his 24-year-old brother, Chris, who's also known as Special K in the ring. His brother, Chris, is a pro boxer. He's been a pro since 2003. And in 29 bouts, he has 26 wins with 18 knockouts. His last fight, guys, was May 24th, the USBA Heavyweight Championship. He lost to Shannon Briggs in New York.
Wow, it's a hard-hitting family. Don't go on the wrong side of the Kovals. 3rd down and a bunch. Rascotti out of the pocket. Using some good mobility, going the other way. Rascotti gonna run for it. And he's got a chance. Spun down inside the 45. I think he's gonna be a yard short. This is gonna bring up a 4th down and 1. Michael Savage is the man who tripped him up.
Rascotti is a very nice athlete at that quarterback position, taking it all the way across the field and then gets very close to the 1st down, but that's what he brings to the table, the ability to buy time, and then he keeps his head downfield. That's what Youngstown State was afraid of defensively. He runs around, but he still wants to keep the throw alive.
And now This is interesting. 4th and 1 at the 44-yard line. It looks as if they're going to punt it away.
Wow. I don't know that sends a very good message early in this game to your team. Everything's on the table when you want to win a championship.
They're going to fake it, and they give it to the back, Akeem Jordan, and he's got the 1st down and more. How about that? They go for the trick play, and they get the 1st down.
Everything is on the table when you want to win a championship. Rascotti did not like the reaction. I'm not convinced that was part of the acting job right there. He cannot know that there's a fake called behind him. And then very well executed. Snapping to the up back, ekes out a 1st down. When you want to win a championship, everything is in play.
So both teams with trick plays early in this game. Fresh set of downs, ball at the 36. Rascotti looking for the big play. Flips it out, pass is complete. That's Holloman with the catch, and he's brought down after a short gain. A pickup of 4, maybe 5.
Riscotti really showed his pocket presence right there. Watch how he's going to go downfield. Right there, the corner recovers, and he steps and throws it outside. In the end, it was a very good decision. He has a long delivery, but it's not that long. He was thinking of going deep.
Riscotti, 19 touchdowns on the year, just 6 interceptions. Very careful with the football. Little option look, keeps it himself. And Riscotti loses the football. Youngstown State, they get the first turnover of the game. I just said that he's careful with the football.
I will not blame this turnover on you. But when you're trying to win a big game, it's about special teams and it's about turnovers. And Haycock said, we have to win, without question, the takeaway turnover battle. And you can see right there, in 9 wins, they've been incredibly good. In the losses, they've turned it over in bunches. Riscotti does a nice job getting upfield, but it's right there. Hutchinson, the middle linebacker responsible for the quarterback on the option, gets his hand that was in a cast just a short time ago on the football.
And Chris Goffer, the senior from Chicago, comes up with the recovery. That is the first possession for either team that did not result in a score. First play, they go outside and get it to T.J. Peterson. And Peterson stopped at the line of scrimmage. The cornerback, Scotty McGee, came up to stone him. Underneath 5 minutes to play, first half. Youngstown State, they've been able to grind that clock out. A good drive here, and they may not give the ball back to Dukes here in the first half.
Yeah, even though they've been playing an Air McNair impersonation very, very well in this first half, they have been controlling the ball, and maybe they're onto something. We can still control the ball by throwing the football and utilizing the short passing game.
That's the junior from Boardman, changing the play. And before the ball is snapped, another flag.
There was 1 second on the play clock when he snapped that football.
Youngstown State, they're first.
Yeah, they called a timeout from the sideline. The running back was signaling his quarterback to call a timeout, and I thought they called delay. There was 1 second left on that play clock.
So John Haycock will have some time to think about this. 2nd down and 9. They've had the ball 3 times. They've scored 3 times. See if they can make it 4 for 4 when we come back.
Rated mature.
Huh. Calories provide energy, but how much energy do you need? Powerade Option, the low-calorie sports drink.
Thank you so much for bringing me here. I really love it here. Like, first impression, would you marry me?
There's so many different things about me that I do not like.
I am a princess, and I deserve to be treated like one.
Miranda's not happy. Perhaps Jason could show some interest in how Miranda is feeling.
I like peanuts. I like cashews, especially candied.
Like, my life is so not together right now.
Chestnuts, pine nuts, anything in a trail mix.
You know who would love to meet you? My mom. She's here. Mommy?
Tired of bad dates? Imagine how much time and money you'd save if you invested just 30 minutes to fill out the eHarmony online questionnaire. Because once we get to know you, we can connect you with other singles who have been pre-screened for compatibility with you. So on your first eHarmony date, you'll have so much in common. And that's the beginning of a great relationship. It all starts with your eHarmony personality profile, free when you log on to eHarmony.com today.
The NCAA Championships on ESPN. The NCAA Division I Football Championship. Brought to you by ESPN Game Plan. Maximum College Football. To order, call your pay-per-view provider or log on to ESPN.com. Search Game Plan. And eHarmony.com. Are you ready to fall in love?
Welcome, everyone, back to the Mahoning Valley. We're here in Youngstown, Ohio, a city with a lot of history, a lot of tradition, but believe it or not, if you're looking for the tallest building here in Youngstown, you're looking at it right here. Stambaugh Stadium is the largest building in Youngstown. 2nd down and 9 after the timeout. Zetz wants to throw, and again he finds his favorite target, T.J. Peterson, good enough for 1st down yards. Let's go back to the college football studio. Linda Cohn. Linda.
Eric, the ACC Atlantic up for grabs over on ESPN between Wake Forest and Maryland. And Kenneth Moore, 19-yard touchdown run for the Demon Deacs, his 2nd touchdown of the year. Earlier, Kevin Harris had a 2-yard TD run. And Wake in control so far at Maryland, 14-7. Eric and Kelly.
Linda, thank you so much. Back here, carry for Marcus Mason, who's off to somewhat of a slow start, at least comparably. He's a guy who averages 166 yards per game. He's been slowed somewhat, but it hasn't slowed down the Penguins, who have scored all 3 times they've had the football.
You know, and sometimes it's just about having him on the field makes a difference, because teams still have to game plan. Teams don't know his physical condition, and teams understand that he's going to get the ball a ton. So having him out there, just a matter of game plan, is still a good thing.
Mason has yet to carry the ball for longer than 3 yards so far from today's game, but that one is considerably longer than 3 yards, and it's good enough for another 1st down. A pickup of 8. Isaiah Doughton-Carter with the stop, but another 1st down for the Penguins.
And Mason has a sensitive ankle, but when you get a lot of guys at the point of attack, and number 50 right there, Tanner, pulling, doing a good job of creating the extra room by getting an extra helmet at the point of attack, but it's also number 50, Tanner, that is down. Remember, every one of these offensive linemen started every game, never missed a game, and now Tanner's down on the field.
Well, Tanner's being attended to. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we will see if the Youngstown State Penguins can keep this drive alive.
Nothing like shopping for a little fresh produce. What do I want? College football insight or a Cobb salad?
ESPN College Game Day, built by the Home Depot. Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Well, there's only one place to be on game day. Sadly, life can't be all about football. Yes, sometimes the missus wants a walk-in closet, the kids want a clubhouse, and you want a room big enough to escape it all. At the Home Depot, we've got the materials and know-how to help you lay a foundation, hang drywall, and turn your home into the ultimate football watching environment, so you can watch more game day.
You can drive a new car for the holidays and save money right now at Preston Hyundai in Boardman, with 5 models rated over 30 miles to the gallon. America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. No payments till February 2007 and our special holiday pricing. Like a new 2007 Sonata for just $17,698. The redesigned 2007 Santa Fe for just $21,567. Hyundai, drive your way.
Preston Hyundai of Boardman, the Hyundai Giant. On Route 224 across from Toys R Us.
Jim Pace knows what today's car buyer wants and serves it up daily at his 2 Niles area dealerships. Jim Pace Pontiac, Saturn of Route 422. Side by side, 5 minutes from Warren, 18 from Boardman, Poland. Both known for serious value, superior selection, and their second to none attention to your satisfaction. For treatment guaranteed to put a smile on your face, visit a Jim Pace dealership soon. Jim Pace Pontiac, Saturn of Route 422, where customers send their friends.
Youngstown State on top of James Madison, 17-14. Josh Tanner has been taken to the sideline. He is being attended to.
Josh Tanner is the left guard. Watch number 50. He pulls and leads Mason up in the hole, does a great job, but right there at the end, he gets his right knee ankle rolled on, and he hobbled off the field.
Number 72, John Foster, senior from Cleveland, has replaced him at the guard spot. They fake to Mason. Man open. Pass is complete. Derek Bush with the catch. And inside the 25-yard line go the Penguins. Pickup of 29 yards through the air.
This is really the first time that Zetz had to put something on the ball and throw into a tight space. A very good job with a tight end. You have to put it right on them. With those big-bodied guys, they don't adjust to the ball very well. Bush does a nice job of catching it on the back shoulder. But I'm very impressed with the way Tom Zetz has thrown the football this evening.
Mason with the carry between the tackles. Gets close to the 20-yard line. A pickup of 3. Mason with 38 yards now on the ground.
You know, the significant thing about that last pass, Zetz had to throw inside the pocket. And the game plan on him is to make him throw inside the pocket because his accuracy goes down. You wouldn't know it by that last pass.
Second and 7. Youngstown State, champions of the Gateway Conference, trying to advance to the quarterfinal round. Pass is complete, coming out of the backfield. The fullback, Demetrius Eisen, with the catch, shot close to first down yards. Let's go back to the football studio and Linda Cohn. Linda.
Just a reminder, Eric and Kelly coming up at halftime in a game with national championship implications. USC taking it to Notre Dame as we speak. It was a sweet 7 in a row for the Sooners as they escape against Oklahoma State. And nothing but misery in Morgantown as West Virginia's conference title hopes are not good. Back to you guys.
Linda, thank you so much. That's a surprise to me. West Virginia losing against South Florida at home.
Yeah, Louisville's in the driver's seat right now in the Big East, right? After all of that, Rutgers, if Louisville wins out, they're the team that's going to represent the Big East in the bowl championship series.
Marcus Mason gets inside the 10. Janine, what's the latest on Josh Tanner?
Sorry, Eric, they had number 50, Josh Tanner, sitting down. The trainers were looking at his right ankle. They said they believe he has a strain, but not a sprain of that right ankle, and he is questionable to return in the second half.
Thank you so much. We'll keep an eye on that, Janine. Second down and 5. Mason with the carry. Not much doing right side. Brought down close to the 10-yard line. Chuck Supine, first man to get there.
When I refer to the Big East, actually it's the Scarlet Knights that control their own destiny. Louisville has to have West Virginia beat them at some point in time.
30-second timeout. We're down to 1 minute even to play here in the first half. Timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. We'll come right back and see if John Haycock's bunch can punch it in.
Enterprise Rental Car for the game.
Yeah, they pick us up. Free.
Free pickup. They ought to be number 1.
They are number 1.
So if Enterprise is number 1, why don't they have these?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Rated mature.
They've stormed beaches and freed countries. They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines.
I was an offensive lineman for 4 years. I no longer wear pads, but I still carry a lot of weight on my shoulders.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sports.
Youngstown State, the Penguins, dreaming big. They've got a 3-point lead, and they want more. Third down and 5, ball at the 10-yard line. Minute to play, first half. Sets. Back of the end zone, incomplete. Looking for his big tight end, Irizarry. And no chance to complete that. The field goal team will have to come on.
James Madison has actually done a pretty nice job defending that very play in the red zone. Out in the field, they've had some issues with more real estate to cover. But down in here where everything is condensed, James Madison has done a nice job of covering absolutely everybody.
Palmer already 1 for 1 so far today in field goal tries on the year. He's 10 for 13. This will be about a 26-yarder. And the ball hooks through. Field goal gives another 3 points to Youngstown State, and they now move ahead 20-14. the first round of the NCAA Division I football championship earlier today. Appalachian State, the top seed, they win. They advance to the round of 8 to take on Montana State. Illinois State, they defeated Eastern Illinois. That means they lie in wait. I bet they're watching this game tonight. They will take on the winner of this Youngstown State James Madison game. Massachusetts, New Hampshire, they've already moved on. Southern Illinois, the Salukis, they have moved on. They will take on the Montana Grizzlies. So basically, Kelly, when you look at those teams, the Gateway Conference, they had 3 teams in. 2 of those teams have moved on. They're still waiting on Youngstown State. The Atlantic 10, they had 3 teams in this playoff. They've already had 2 teams move on. The only remaining team still in doubt is James Madison. Yeah, and what's interesting is the Gateway and the A-10 are here tonight, and a lot of people think that the winner of this game is going to meet Appalachian State in the finals. They're the favorites from right now, so we have, I think, a significant game going on right in front of us. Yeah, Appalachian State, a year ago, they were the team to beat. They were fantastic a year ago, and they won the 2005 championship. And well, this is where we are, folks. Yeah. In case you're wondering how our boot looks like, it looks exactly like this. This is where we are. This is the tailor-made for us. Is that right? It's the bird's nest, we're calling it. The Penguins' nest. Short kickoff is fielded by James Madison. The ball's returned out to the 45-yard line. Good starting field possession for the Dukes. That was Rakheed McCarter, freshman wide receiver, who returned that ball. And obviously, Youngstown State doesn't want to give up another big return. So you kind of pop it up and you force the kickoff return team to fair catch it or not give it to the guys that can take it the distance. This is exactly why McGee, 99 yards later, and the touchdown is why we've seen a couple of pop-ups since then. Scotty McGee, a 99-yard kickoff return. The first time James Madison touched the football. Alvin Banks, a swing out pass, goes out of bounds, pick up a 5 yards. That'll stop the clock, 27 seconds remaining here in the first half. What's interesting right now to me is Holloman's not in the game. Banks is in a game at a point in time where Holloman is the guy that you want to get out in open space and let him try to hit a big one. James Madison with 2 timeouts to work with. Here comes the blitz. Rascati. Pass complete, and oh my, big hit made. L.C. Baker goes backwards. He was crushed. Rashawn Simons comes up and makes a heck of a play. The freshman makes a nice play. The quarterback, the veteran, kind of protects him. He throws the ball right at him. He didn't lead him one way or the other. He let him kind of gather himself with the reception. But Simmons still puts the wood to him. JMU, they call the timeout. Now both teams will get a chance to rest for a moment. 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Ball is spotted now on the 45-yard line. Well, tonight at 11 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2, the defending national champion Florida Gators. They have a huge early season test at the Las Vegas Invitational. They'll take on the 12th ranked Kansas Jayhawks, led by Brandon Rush, Julian Wright, Mario Chalmers. They've got a whole bunch of fantastic performers. The Las Vegas Invitational is part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's on ESPN2. That's tonight at 11 o'clock. Well, Mickey Matthews in his 8th season. James Madison, 56 wins, 39 losses. This is his 3rd trip to the playoffs. 99, not so good, but 2004, fantastically good. They won the national championship 2 years ago. Fresh set of downs, first down at 10. Rascati with 5 receivers at his disposal. Rascati under pressure, steps up, gets out of the pocket, throws, pass complete, out of bounds. Good gain. Ardon Bransford, his first catch of the game, good for 16 yards. That's exactly what defensive coordinator Mike Kolakowski's afraid of. Blitz off the edge, you don't get to Rascati, and then you leave receivers open. Rascati avoids the blitz and then finds the receiver downfield. Rascati loves to break down the blitz with his feet, but still keep the throw alive. Ball inside the 30. Rascati Moves right, flushed out of the pocket again. Pass is complete, and heading out of bounds is McCarter. So now, very close to makeable field goal range for James Madison. Pickup of 9.
David Rabel, the kicker, his long on the year is 38 yards. So they're about right at that right now. If they spot it down about 7 yards deep, we're talking about a 37-yarder.
All right, 7 seconds remaining. They have a timeout. Did they go to the end zone, or did they just try and get something underneath and make it a more makeable field goal?
No, I think it's makeable right now. If you're throwing 5 wides out there, you go to the end zone right here.
Let's see how aggressive they'll be. Rascotti looking for 7, incomplete through the hands of L.C. Baker. That was a catchable ball.
Perfectly executed, 1 second left, and absolutely right. L.C. Baker is the go-to guy. Rascotti buys sometimes, moves up just a little bit, but remember, L.C. Baker is only a 5'7" guy, but that was right off his hands, a high, hard one, but that's a catchable ball. You're exactly right, Eric.
So they'll have to settle for a field goal attempt. It'll be about a 36-yarder. David Rabel comes on. It's officially a 37-yard attempt, and it's officially good. So they would have liked 7. They have to settle for 3. And James Madison, they go to the locker room trailing by 3. High-scoring first half. Youngstown State, the Penguins, on top of JMU by a score of 20-17. We expected a nip-and-tuck battle, and we've got it so far. Probably didn't expect as much offense, but we sure are getting it, and then some. The head coach for Youngstown State, John Haycock, is standing by with Janine. Janine, take it away.
Coach, you've been making things happen all season with your running game, but now you're having success tonight with your passing game, specifically your short passing game. How is that happening?
Well, they've got so many guys down in the box, and our guys are making some good reads, and Tommy's making some good checks at the line and just trying to get the ball out on the perimeter and get it away from the box. There's so many guys in there.
It was reported in the local news that the Maine head coach, Jack Cosgrove, had told James Madison's head coach, Mickey Matthews, that he would have no problem coming here and beating you guys. How did that affect your players when they found out about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think our biggest focus has been on, us and ourselves and being able to, block and tackle, and that's the key. And we got to do a better job in special teams. That's been the change of the game, and we got to get it corrected here at halftime.
Well, you've given us some surprises, so we'll see you in the second half.
Janine, thank you so much. Well, John Haycock can't be too upset. His team had the ball 4 times on offense. They scored all 4 times. Our score, Youngstown State 20, JMU 17. Now let's go to the studio and our halftime report in Linda Cohn.
Thank you, Eric. Welcome back to the
We played 30 minutes of football here in Youngstown, Ohio, and the Youngstown State Penguins, they're on top of James Madison by a score of 20-17. Nothing has been decided yet. The NCAA Division I Football Championship first round is presented on ESPN2 by Enterprise. Well, we've had a chance to catch our breath alongside Kelly Stauffer. I'm Eric Collins. We didn't expect this. Both teams not really able to stop anyone on defense.
No, and it's Youngstown State that's, to me, impressive. They're willing to throw the football, razzle-dazzle type of plays. Everything has been on the table. The adjustment has to come with James Madison's defense in the second half.
Okay, we're going to put you on the spot. It's now time for the Home Depot coaching adjustment. What needs to happen here?
Well, the adjustment is the easy part. You can see right here the softness in the secondary. That's Minifield. He's normally a safety, number 5, playing very soft, not confident out there on the edge in pass coverage. Youngstown State has been decisive in their throwing game. You can see right here the double move by Peterson. Plenty of space. McAuliffe, number 20, was the back trying to cover there, and then it's over the top. The adjustment has to be made in defensive coverage.
Yards per play, both teams averaging well over 5 yards per play. That's a recipe for a high score.
You have to, if you're at home, look close to the icon. That is Youngstown State with almost 200 yards throwing in the first half.
The Dukes at James Madison start with the football. Scotty McGee, a 99-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in the first half. He gets out across the 30 to the 33. Let's go down to Janine for an update. Janine, what do you have?
Well, Eric and Kelly, James Madison coach Mickey Matthews is probably definitely in agreement with what Kelly had to say about what they need to do to get a little bit more potency to their defense. He said, this is the worst half of defense we have played all year. He said, I really came down hard on my defensive players in the locker room. He said, we're doing okay stopping the run, but we're doing nothing to stop their passing game. He's like, since when can we not do that? He said, and my quarterback's playing well, but we still have to get some more things going. He said, I need to get these guys fired up. He said, our defense especially is letting me down right now.
Thank you, Janine.
We're in 100% agreement, I believe. But the hard part is the adjustment is the easy part. You can play tighter coverage, but right now James Madison is banged up in the secondary. You have to have confidence to play tight coverage, and I don't believe there's a lot of confidence in that secondary.
Chain gang getting things worked out. Ball in the 33. Justin Riscotti starts from the shotgun, wants to throw. Pass is complete. Ardon Bransford with the catch, out across the 40 to the 43 for Dara Jackson with the stop. That's going to be close to enough for a first down. This is what James Madison mustered in the first half. Kickoff return for a touchdown. First time they touched it. First offensive possession, 70 yards for the touchdown. They fumbled, and then a field goal. So some ups and downs.
Yeah, the context is they just haven't had the ball much because Youngstown State has been so effective in the short passing game.
Picked up 9 yards on first down, so it's 2nd and 1. Whole playbook is available to the Dukes here, and they're going to be conservative. On the ground with the carry. Holloman brought down by Rashad Cotton. I don't know if he got the first down. I think he was brought down at the line of scrimmage. He's going to bring up 3rd and short. And they're going to make it official. They've called timeout, and they're going to...
That seemed like a pretty generous spot. I actually think he's going to end up eking this one out. Yeah, they're not even going to measure it.
That's surprising.
I think it's our vantage point up here in this custom-made box. We didn't quite have the angle on it. So we're right there. We're the highest point in the town if it wasn't for the press box across the way.
Yeah, we are not high maintenance.
No, we aren't.
On the carry, Holloman right up the gut. Crosses the 50, pickup of 7 yards on first down before Jason Perry trips him up.
We haven't gotten a chance to talk much about James Madison's offense, but they're very balanced, very physical up front. Holloman's really the new guy on the block, and he has a lot of vision. He has a home run hitting ability. We didn't see him much in the first half because we didn't see James Madison's offense much in the first half.
Scotty keeps it. Play action, has a man. Bransford behind the defense. Pass hangs up in the air, and it's almost intercepted. Jason Perry almost with his 5th interception of the season.
Yeah, this is play action pass, and this is meant to go downtown by design. There's only one receiver out, and that's Bransford. If he stays outside, they have a chance because he beat the initial coverage, but it was number 1, Jason Perry, recovering from the opposite side.
Talked about Jason Perry and the plays that he can make. That was a big deflection there. 3rd down and short. Call it 3rd and 3. Riscotti. Incomplete, looking for L.C. Baker, and that's his 2nd drop of the game. That's a big one.
2 drops, and the only 2 times that Riscotti has gone to Baker, and Baker is that big play wide receiver for this football team. That's another reason that this offense hasn't sustained drives and kept things alive, even though they haven't had many opportunities.
So this is going to be an unusual sight. This is the first punt of the game for either side. Jason Pritchard to punt to Jason Perry. Perry with 1 punt return for a touchdown on the year. He's not going to go anywhere fast for this one. He calls for the fair catch and makes it at the 16-yard line. 33-yard punt, no return. And the Youngstown State Penguins, they do their job. They hold defensively and force a punt. see what they can do with the football when we come back.
The ACC Big Ten Challenge, Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 on ESPN.
Enterprise Rent-A-Car for the game.
Yeah, they pick us up. Free.
Free pickup. They ought to be number one.
They are number one.
So if Enterprise is number one, why don't they have these?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
If you're going to go out and drink Guinness, remember, use common sense and always know when you've had your fill.
A simple way to remember it is, you sack we hiff.
What?
Please drink responsibly from the brewers of Guinness.
Capital One's Fur Factor.
Dinner time, mascots. Tonight's entree, earthworms from New Jersey. The first one to eat all of these slugs. Bird. Time for the concrete swim, and speed counts. Gotta be quicker than that. Vote for your favorite mascot at CapitalOneBowl.com. Then watch the Capital One Bowl to see who wins.
What's in your wallet?
Pressure. Enemy of engines. Enemy of pressure. Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic, with adaptive molecules that continually join forces to help conquer pressure. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Tonight's game is being broadcast on ESPN2 HD, presented by Pioneer Plasma. Youngstown State, they have the football for the first time here in the second half. They're up by 3, looking for more. This is the first time in the playoffs for Youngstown State since 2000. Zetz throws on first down, and he keeps on keeping on. T.J. Peterson, another grab, and a big pickup, 16 yards for the Penguins. Well, in the first half, the Penguins were undaunted offensively. They had the ball 4 times, and they scored all 4 times.
And that's the reason why they're willing to throw on traditionally run downs for this style of offense, and Zetz has been absolutely off the hook tonight.
If they were going to make a movie about the first half of the Penguins, it would be called March of the Penguins. They were unstoppable. Left-hand side, nothing doing at all. Marcus Mason is pushed out of bounds for a loss. Isaiah Doughton-Carter with the tackle for loss.
You know, when I talked to head coach Mickey Matthews, he said that we're worried about Zetz's throwing ability. I didn't really take him seriously, but you can see the last 3 games haven't been that productive. That's the games that I watched on film. I'm like, I don't understand why they're that worried about throwing, but you see why tonight. When you put the body of work together, this young man can throw the football.
His season high is 208 yards through the air, so he's almost there. Second down and long. Zetz throwing off that good arm. There's a flag on the play. Pass is complete. Good enough for a first down. Should it hold up? That's T.J. Peterson with what would be his 8th catch, but I'm not sure that's going to stay.
The way that flag was thrown late, it was almost like there was a lineman downfield, because the line judge waited for the ball to be thrown to determine whether it was a penalty or not.
Ineligible player downfield against the offense. Number 87, he was covered up, 5 yards. Second down.
Yeah, even though 87, Derek Bush, is a tight end, he's on the left side, he's covered up, meaning he's ineligible. He can't go downfield without it being a penalty.
There is Derek Bush, who's going to go to the sideline for this play.
The bottom line is, his wide receiver needed to be off the football and uncover him, and that would have been an eligible play.
It's now 2nd and 19. Zetz under pressure. The blitz is on. Keeps it himself. Makes a nice move and dives out to the 35-yard line. That play had disaster written all over it, but he picks up 11 yards on the scramble. Well, log on to your new online source for all things college sports, ESPNU.com. This online gateway will connect you to all the college sports content from ESPN, combining the latest news with an expanded collection of new exclusive material, scores and columns. That's ESPNU.com. We are college sports. Zetz, important third down, sets up a middle screen, and it is incomplete, looking for his tight end, Irizarry. So, Youngstown State will have to punt the football away. That's their first punt of the game.
You know, the difference was, Eric, it was 3rd and long. Even though Youngstown State wanted to throw the football in the first half, they were able to throw the football short because they were in those manageable down and distances. That's when James Madison comes after the passer in 3rd and long.
Joe Bishop, his first action today. High hanging punt. Their catch is made for by L.C. Baker at the 26-yard line. So both teams, after a fantastic offensive first half, have to punt here in the 3rd quarter.
The most fearsome beast is your strongest ally. For you are a dragon rider. Play Aragon, the video game, and become the Dragon Rider. Your destiny awaits. Rated T for teen.
I changed my oil. Why worry about engine sludge?
You can't see sludge coming, but it can rob gas mileage and hold your car back.
Yeah, right.
Castrol GTX has an improved formula to stop sludge in its tracks.
Give me a burger, fries.
GTX's new dispersants neutralize sludge for superior protection among leading 5W and 10W30s.
And some extra napkins.
Castrol GTX. It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
The Philips Norelco Smart Touch XL adjusts to your face for a closer shave with 50% more shaving surface and 3 shaving rings in each shaving head. Philips Norelco, the world's best-selling electric shaver. Simplicity is making every stroke count.
That's me, Brett Favre. And it's my 9th day with Prilosec OTC. Now, frequent heartburn is no big deal. 0 heartburn for 24 hours with 1 pill a day. So what day are you on?
The NCAA Championships on ESPN. The NCAA Division I Football Championship. Brought to you by Famous Bowls from KFC. Dig into great layers of flavor with KFC Famous Bowls.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Mahoning Valley. We're in Youngstown, Ohio. We've got a battle. We talked, Kelly, just a moment ago about how both teams need to figure out defensively how to stop one another, and so far so good here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, we saw the effectiveness of the punters for the first time, right? But I think the better adjustment right now was made on Youngstown State's defense. They were bailed out, James Madison was, because of the penalty on Youngstown's offense.
Holloman not going too far too fast. He's brought down with a negative play. He loses a yard. Let's go back down to Janine. Janine, what do you have?
Well, Eric, you may be noticing on the sidelines, one of the assistant coaches is in a wheelchair. That is Clayton Matthews, Mickey Matthews' son. He coaches the wide receivers and the kickers. He was paralyzed in a car accident 3 years ago. He's a former quarterback and kicker at James Madison. He's 24 years old, not letting his disability get in the way of his career. And I'll finish after the play, guys.
Okay, Janine. That was the first negative play of the game for James Madison. L.C. Baker gets the ball out in space, and he's pushed out of bounds close to the first down. Janine, continue.
Yeah, Eric, you know, he works the same 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. shift as the other coaches. He goes on recruiting trips. He drives his own car. And Mickey Matthews said, you know, it's just so rewarding to coach with him. He's such a good teacher on the field. The kids see him as a coach, not as a guy in a wheelchair. And I can tell you from watching him on the sidelines here, he's quiet when he's in a chair. But when he calls his guys over, they listen to him extremely intently.
Thank you, Janine. That's a great story. A 3rd down and 1. And they're going to get it and then some. Nice carry. James Madison riding those broad shoulders of Holloman for the first down. Chris Golfer finally brings him down, but not before pickup of 8.
And the last couple of plays is really what we expected out of James Madison now that they're finally getting the football back. A quick screen to Baker, their playmaker, find ways to get number 3 the football, and then Holloman in a lot of different positions, slashing, getting to the edge quickly.
They give again. Holloman bottle up at the line of scrimmage. Gang tackled, maybe a gain of 1. Well, we talk about the experience for James Madison. They won this whole ball of wax in 2004, riding that man's shoulders. Yeah. He was just a sophomore back then, but Riscotti now back for his senior year, and there's whispers around the James Madison campus that he's got pro potential.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of it tonight because he hasn't been in throwing situations a whole lot, or on the field at all for that matter. But on tape, this guy definitely can make every throw that you need to make at the next level.
With time, Riscotti passes complete to his fullback, Will Patrick, his first catch of the game, and he's brought down after a pickup of 5.
What you also see on tape is Riscotti willing to stand in the pocket. So many times, you understand as a quarterback, you have to wait until the last second. Sometimes you're getting hit as you throw the football. And then we see Will Patrick on the other end, the gigantic fullback. They list him at 255. If he's 255, yeah. I'm a $110.
At some point in his life, he was 255. A long time ago. 3rd down. They need to get close to the 45-yard line. Just a 3-man rush. Riscotti with time. Pass is complete. Going up high and making the grab is Bransford. Pickup of 10, and the chains will move.
Bransford, number 8, is the guy who's had a little wiggle room. Youngstown State is aware of number 3, Baker. The crossing route right in front opens up the dig route or the end route behind Baker once Baker clears out the underneath defenders. And then Bransford makes a nice catch going up knowing that you're going to get hit in the back.
Handoff, Banks. Banks scoots across the 35 to the 33, a pickup of 7. James Madison, he received an at-large berth this year to the NCAA Division I Football Championship. They are one of 3 teams from the Atlantic 10 to make it to this football championship, joining UMass and New Hampshire. James Madison, they were the champions of the South Division of the Atlantic 10. Inside handoff, and again, Banks slides through a crease and picks up good yards, a pickup of 6 and another 1st down. Well, you can catch a special edition of the NBA on ESPN tomorrow night. It's Elton Brand, Sean Livingston, and the LA Clippers taking on Carmelo Anthony and the Denver Nuggets. And the Nuggets regain their winning ways and defeat the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last spring. NBA Sunday Special Edition on ESPN at 8 Eastern Time. Another handoff, and Banks, he's been money lately, this time only 3 yards on the gain.
Banks is getting a good workout tonight. He's actually been more of the featured back. We expected 14 Holloman to be the guy, but Banks has racked up quite a few yards in his career here at James Madison as well. He's carried the load plenty of times. You can see the breakdown right there, and that's what we expect. A lot more balance out of James Madison and a lot less throwing out of Youngstown State.
And Riscotti has to burn a timeout. Play clock down to 2. Didn't like what he saw. And they use their first timeout. Mickey Matthews talk things over with the senior quarterback. We'll take a timeout when we come back to see if James Madison can make this promising drive pay off.
They wear the school colors for a few fleeting years, leave behind moments we'll always remember, and take with them the spirit to excel in all they do. That's why the NCAA corporate family provides scholarships, sponsors youth programs, and supports all 23 NCAA sports. They know that while the excitement of college sports is shown in moments, the value lasts a lifetime.
This is your life. This is your home. And this is the bank that puts you first. First Place Bank. Now for a limited time, get a First Place Ultimate Savings Account with a great rate of 5.10% APY guaranteed for 6 months. First Place Bank, voted best bank in the Valley.
It's Sweeney's Fall Inventory Clearance Event. Hey folks, I'm Tom Park, and if you've waited for the perfect time to buy or lease a new Buick, Pontiac, or GMC, now is the time. You can lease a new 07 Buick Rendezvous for as low as $137 a month, an 07 GMC Envoy for $139 a month, or how about an 07 Pontiac G6 for $179 a month? And there are over 1,000 available. The Fall Inventory Clearance Event at Sweeney's, 1 mile south of Southern Park Mall, Boardman.
Youngstown State on top of James Madison, 2017. Somewhat high-scoring game, but the last time these two teams played, it was very high-scoring. This is back in 1992. James Madison against Youngstown State, the highest-scoring game in the history of Stambaugh Stadium. Two teams combined for 101 points, 15 touchdowns, over 1,000 total yards. When it was all said and done, James Madison, the Dukes riding a 27-yard field goal by Trey Weiss to win 52-49. And oh, by the way, in case you were wondering, that man was intimately involved. John Haycock, now the head coach at Youngstown State, he was the beleaguered defensive coordinator.
He didn't want you to mention that.
His bunch doing a little bit better this time around. They've held the Dukes to just 17 points. Pressure, Riscotti gets it away just barely. Jeff Koval on the pressure, but Riscotti able to just get the ball out of his hands and live to fight another day.
Koval is that number 51 with the non-stop motor, and the non-stop motor was needed right there. Chased him clear from the opposite side. Riscotti obviously didn't see it, couldn't get enough on the football.
Neither team has suffered a sack so far today.
Down a distance like this right here in the red zone, you would expect Baker, number 3, to be an option.
And he is. They get it to him in space. And Baker, trying to make a play, has the first down. Just what the doctor ordered, huh,
Yeah, Baker is all about yards after the catch. And Youngstown State's defense has taken him away by pressing him, and he's just 5'7", $160, so you can press him and take him out of the game. So this is what you have to do. Take him off the line of scrimmage, get him the football before any hands are on him, and let him do his thing.
On this drive, Youngstown State, they've given up 3 first downs on 3rd down. James Madison, good in pressure situation. Holloman with the carry, only 1 yard available. Jim Phelan brings him down, and a late flag flies.
Yeah, and the bell cow up front, number 65, Corey Davis, is going to be penalized for an unsportsmanlike after the play by your veteran. You can't have that kind of thing if you want to get to the next round. It may be offsetting, but the other question is, if it's a blow after the play is dead, do they actually potentially kick him out of the game? I mean, how would that be? Your left tackle that has been there forever and the guy that you want to run behind. Be interesting to see if they might do offsetting, because 51 Koval was involved in the mix as well.
Taking some time, making sure they get this call right.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul, 51, defense. Personal foul, 65, offense. Those penalties offset. 2nd down.
Yeah, a whole lot of nothing.
And I think looking at the play at the end, it's a good call. 65 is Davis, always working to the second after the whistle, and 51, Koval is the one that comes in and push. Davis retaliates. You can't do that. I think James Madison was very fortunate that Davis is still in the game.
Now Koval is going to sit this next play out. He's on the sideline. 2nd down and 9. The Dukes down by 3, but knocking on the door. Fake to Holloman. Riscotti with time to the end zone. Touchdown, Dukes! Mike Cawson, the tight end, with a 14-yard touchdown grab. That is the second big catch for the tight end Cawson. Just a redshirt freshman, but that grab takes the lead away from John Haycock's Penguins. Extra point, no problem. And it is a 4-point lead for James Madison.
Cawson is that vertical receiver. Play action pass is directly designed to hold the coverage on the tight end to do exactly that. Sneak in behind him, give Riscotti a place to throw the football. Very well designed and a nice throw by Riscotti. Give your tight end, especially when he's standing in the end zone, a ball that he can hang on to. Put it right in his breadbasket where he has no choice.
Good drive for James Madison. They convert 3 first downs, and when it's all said and done, Riscotti passes 5 times, 6 yards, picks up 50 yards of their 73 through the sky, and they get 7. Here's Mike Cawson's father, John Cawson, who obviously is pleased.
Absolutely, the young man catching a big one. But that's an adjustment by James Madison's offense. Youngstown has done a very good job of taking away the running game, and so you have to, as an offense, go to step number 2. Defense takes the run away. We have to loosen it up a little bit and go to the pass. We've seen just the opposite out of Youngstown State. They've gone to the pass early because the box was loaded by James Madison with 8 or 9.
So James Madison, 4-point lead. Let's see if Youngstown State can answer. Josh Kaysen on the return, and Kaysen slides out to the 30-yard line. We're back to the college football studio where we get an update on Wake Forest and Maryland. Linda, what do you have?
All right, this game going on ESPN. Wake Forest always responding to what Maryland has to offer. Kevin Harris with his 2nd touchdown run of the game. It's 28-14 Wake. Remember, the winner of this one plays Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game next week.
By the way, what a season they're having. You talk about a Cinderella story. There's a good one right there.
Quante Gibson is the tailback in the game for Youngstown State. Zetz wants to throw on 1st down. Wants a bunch and throws to no one in particular. Pass is incomplete. Was looking for TJ Peterson, but no chance at all to make the play.
Have you ever seen a receiver quadruple covered?
Yeah.
Right now, Youngstown State sent 2 receivers out in the pattern, and I kid you not, number 9 was surrounded by at least 3, maybe 4 guys. There's the adjustment that we talked about James Madison need to make. You have to get tighter coverage defensively and force Zetz to make some throws, force his receivers to run some nice routes.
3 receivers in the game. 2nd and 10, they want to throw again. Set up the screen for Kaysen. Kaysen good in the open field, gives up ground, and he's going to lose ground. A big loss on the play. Akeem Jordan with the stop, a loss of 7 yards. That's why he's the A-10 Defensive Player of the Year.
I was going to say, Mason gave up ground and tried to change direction, but he didn't realize 23, Akeem Jordan, was the one chasing him down. Has speed to burn himself. Get the ball out quickly, get blocking out in front, but don't do this when number 23, Jordan, is chasing you. He has the speed of a running back.
So it's now 3rd and a bunch. Call it 3rd and 17. They need to get to the 40. Zet's pocket collapses, moves to his left, throws it up for grabs, has a man. Incomplete, looking for Kaysen. And the ball is knocked away. Adam Ford, good defensive coverage.
McGee doing a nice job, I think, at the end of this play. Find the ball in the air, go up to the highest point. Do not let the receiver come over your back, and in the end, the receiver becomes the defender. But it all started being down and down in distance, and then James Madison doesn't give the quarterback time to throw the football.
So 2 possessions, 2 punts for Youngstown State, but a flag before the punt is kicked.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense.
Oh my.
Number 21, 5 yards.
Things going bad to worse for John Haycock's bunch.
You know, we made the comparison between Haycock and Tressel, which he would like to get past, by the way, but that's a Tressel mark as well. His teams don't make mistakes like that, pre-snap penalties, and Haycock preaches the same thing.
L.C. Baker, a dynamic returner, getting ready to field this one. He's not going to have a chance to run with it. Calls for the fair catch and makes the grab at the 48. Punt of just 33 yards, no return.
See the last drive, James Madison getting to what we expected him to do. Mix the run in with Hollivan, pitch it wide, and then convert on 3rd down because you're in manageable situations. You have skilled guys that could go make plays, and they're getting a nice pop for Banks as well. Both in the run and passing game, Rascati makes good decisions, and Cosson is open for that play in the end zone right there.
There's the big play guy, L.C. Baker, lining up wide right. 1st and 10, and Rascati wants something. Keeps it himself. And Rascati showing good wheels, gets out close to 1st down yards, a pickup of 9. Well, with more on Rascati's main man as a wide receiver, let's go down to Janine.
Well, Eric, you can see from these Dukes that they just have such a sense of fight in them this evening. And wide receiver L.C. Baker summed it up best when he said, "We feel like we let a lot of people down last year when they didn't make the playoffs." He said, "We had a fight in us 2 years ago that was uncanny. We had a refuse to lose attitude." So his advice to his younger teammates this year is stay focused and get that fight back.
Thank you, Janine. Inside running, Holliman. Good rush out to the 30-yard line before Vince Cleata brings him down, but a pickup of 12 yards. Well, win or go home. That's what we're facing right here. It's the NCAA Division I Championship first round. 7 teams have advanced already to the round of 8. We still have 1 quarterfinal spot still available. And James Madison, Mickey Matthews' bunch, they won it. They're currently up by 4. They're the only team that's scored in the second half. And look at the yardage differential. Almost 100 yards more in the second half for James Madison as opposed to the Penguins of Youngstown State. On 1st down, they stay on the ground. Holliman showing good balance. Gets to the 27, a pickup of 3. Well, later tonight, right here on ESPN2, Feast Week continues, presented by Lowe's. It's Las Vegas Invitational. 11 o'clock Eastern Time, the top-ranked team in the land, the Florida Gators. They take on Bill Self's Kansas Jayhawks. They're ranked 12th in the country. We've got some young players who are dynamic on both sides. And they know exactly what the programming is on ESPN2 here in Youngstown.
Everybody does. Everywhere, right?
That's a game and a half. 2nd down at 7. Rascati. Option keeps it himself. Somewhat of a half-hearted attempt. He goes down at the 27. Didn't look like his heart was into it.
Well, the good thing is his heart wasn't into pitching the football either. That was very well defensed by Youngstown State. String it out to the sideline, cover the quarterback, and rally to the pitch. Nothing that Rascati could have done right there, but the main thing you don't want to do is pitch the football.
All right, it's come down to this. 3rd quarter winding down, and we're going to have 15 minutes to decide whose season will continue and whose season will end. Youngstown State, they need to find some answers. James Madison on top by 4. 15 minutes to play.
Enterprise rental car for the game.
Yeah, they pick us up. Free.
Free pickup. They ought to be number 1.
They are number 1.
So if Enterprise is number 1, why don't they have these?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Ordinary toothbrushes can't stand up to it. Oral-B Triumph. Triumph's onboard computer and floss action brush head help give you cleaner teeth and healthier gums by your next checkup. Oral-B Triumph.
Top off at mycokerewards.com.
Man has always been fascinated with traveling back in time. Well, now Sprint has actually moved the unlimited calling time back 2 hours from 9 p.m. to 7. It's science fiction meets cold, hard economics. Stupid time machine.
Switch to Sprint and get unlimited calls starting at 7 p.m. Sprint, power up. Sprint gives you the power to start talking at 7 p.m. because night calling now starts 2 hours earlier. And with enhanced overage protection, there won't be any surprises on your bill. All with Sprint fair and flexible plans. Switch today and get the best value in wireless. Stop by your nearest Sprint store and get the A640 camera phone free. Sprint. Power up.
Minutes remain. The winner advances to next week's quarterfinals to take on the Illinois State Redbirds. The loser, their season is over. Third down at 7. James Madison. Rascotti, he can run for it. First down and more. Rascotti, touchdown, Dukes. Justin Rascotti, a 27-yard scamper, his second touchdown run of the game.
Mobility at the quarterback position is absolutely lethal. James Madison went big. They had big personnel in the game, play action pass, but when your option number 2, if your receiver isn't open, is give it to your quarterback's feet, that's not a bad option in the end.
Largest lead of the game for either side. It's now an 11-point advantage for Justin Rascotti and the James Madison Dukes. They're looking good. 14:52 remaining, trying to advance to live another day.
Okay, go. Yes! Yes! Verizon Wireless is going to have a buy one, get one free razor sale this weekend. I'm going to get a razor with VCAS and navigation system. And I get another one free!
I wish for $1 million in world peace.
Get your wish at the Verizon Wireless buy one razor, get one free sale. Buy one fully loaded Moto Razor for just $49.99 and get the second one free. Hurry, only 2 days left. The best gifts come with the network. Verizon Wireless.
In all the world, there are a select few who at their very core are capable of incredible transformation. Under the most grueling conditions, they are shaped, hardened, sharpened, ready to stand among the most elite of all warriors. The few, the proud, the Marines.
So, Peter,
What's happening? Now, are you going to go ahead and have those TPS reports for us this afternoon?
No. In fact, look, I'm gonna have to ask you to go ahead and just come back another time. I got a meeting with the Bobs in a couple of minutes.
Somewhere else you'd rather be? Join over 7 million players in an online world of legendary adventure. World of Warcraft. Try it for free at warcraft.com. Rated T for teen.
Yeah.
James Madison on top of Youngstown State by 11. Justin Riscotti, the quarterback, he's been the difference. And, well, Youngstown State head coach John Haycock knew he'd be trouble.
I think the key is to slow him down. I'm not sure that you stop a guy like him, and I don't think our guys can get frustrated. Great quarterback, he's going to make a run. He's going to make a throw. The key is that those throws and those runs don't become touchdowns.
Well, they didn't slow him down, nor did they stop him. First, it's the great ball handling, and then, look, he becomes a very nice running back once he decides to tuck the ball.
Riscotti responsible for 3 touchdowns on the day, 2 rushing and 1 passing. Over 1,000 yards career rushing for his 3 years at JMU. Josh Cation on this return brings it out to the 20-yard line, and that is where the Penguins will start on offense.
Well, the other part of what Coach Haycock had to say, Eric, is you can't get frustrated. This is where we will see whether they get frustrated or not. It's this drive right here where Youngstown State's offense hasn't done much. They need to come out and get something done right now.
Now, Youngstown State is not one of those teams that wants to play from behind. They like to be the lead dog.
Although the way they're throwing the ball tonight, maybe that philosophy has changed a little bit.
Winner advances to take on Illinois State in the quarterfinals. Penguins continue to struggle with the rushing game. Here in the second half, they pick up just 1 yard on that carry. Marcus Mason, we talked about the ankle injury. He has been slowed so far today.
Yeah, we knew he was going to play, but the question was his effectiveness. He hasn't been real effective. James Madison sells out against the run, and then they get you behind and down in distance like Youngstown State is right now, and then they get after you. This is where Youngstown State hasn't been, behind down in distance much in this game.
Mason normally averages close to 7 yards per carry. Today he's averaging 2 yards per run. Jets wants to throw. Pass is complete right side, Rory Berry. Nice play. That's going to be a first down for the Penguins. Pickup of 12 yards. And a man is down in the backfield. James Madison has one of their defenders lying on the ground in pain. That's John Baranowski, the junior from Sudbury, Mass. Baranowski has been one of the real finds on this year's team. He's a transfer from the Connecticut Huskies program. Mickey Matthews didn't know what he was going to get out of Baranowski, but he has really solidified things on that defensive line. So some concern over Baranowski. And with that, we'll take a timeout. 13:52 remaining. James Madison up by 11.
Enterprise rental car for the game.
Yeah, they pick us up. Free.
Free pickup. They ought to be #1.
They are #1.
So if Enterprise is #1, why don't they have these?
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
Sam Adams Boston Lager is not a beginner's beer.
Boston Lager tastes rich, complex. It is not watered down.
We use a pound of hops per barrel for Boston Lager.
I can't even drink domestic beers anymore. Sam Adams is a domestic beer. Oh, you know what I mean.
It's Sweeney's Fall Inventory Clearance Event. Hey folks, I'm Tom Park, and if you've waited for the perfect time to buy or lease a new Buick, Pontiac, or GMC, now is the time. You can lease a new 07 Buick Rendezvous for as low as $137 a month, an 07 GMC Envoy for $139 a month, or how about an 07 Pontiac G6 for $179 a month? And there are over 1,000 available. The Fall Inventory Clearance Event at Sweeney's, 1 mile south of Southern Park Mall, Boardman.
Jim Pace knows what today's car buyer wants and serves it up daily at his 2 Niles area dealerships. Jim Pace Pontiac, Saturn of Route 422. Side by side, 5 minutes from Warren, 18 from Boardman, Poland. Both known for serious value, superior selection, and their second to none attention to your satisfaction. For treatment guaranteed to put a smile on your face, visit a Jim Pace dealership soon. Jim Pace Pontiac, Saturn of Route 422, where customers send their friends.
Now, John Baranowski, a little bit gimpy, but he's able to make it to the sidelines on his own power. He's replaced by Sam Daniels on that defensive line. First down and 10, Youngstown State, they stay on the ground. Mason, pickup of just 3. And Mason came into today's game averaging 166 yards per game. With those 3 yards, he's now got 43.
Yeah, 43 tonight, and you can tell even in that shot we just saw him walking back to the huddle, he's not walking very well, let alone run. I mean, he's obviously tougher than you and I are, but still that's a tough task.
His lowest rushing total on the season for one game was against UC Davis, and he ran for 99 yards so far today. He does not have a run longer than 8 yards. Pass complete right side, close to first down yards. That's Kaysen who makes the catch.
Take a look at this. Number 20 at the top is McCullough. He has a bad will himself. You can see it right there in that softness. My philosophy is if you can't do what the defense calls for, you can't be on the field, because right now Youngstown State is going back there time and time and time again.
All right, 3rd down and 1. What's the play call here? You go conservative or you try and get a big play?
I think you go conservative. You move the chains.
They're stacking the line, and they're not going conservative. Zetz wants to throw for it. Flag is down on the field. Incomplete. Looking for his tight end going down the right side, Derek Bush, and we may have a holding call here.
I believe you're going to have a holding call, and that's why you go conservative. Get another roll of the dice. There's still plenty of time left in this game.
And it is a hold against Youngstown State.
You know, and the thinking may have been at this point in time, maybe you go for it. On 4th and 1, if you don't pick it up, you go for the home run, and worst case scenario, you try to pick it up on 4th down.
Holding, 23 in the offense. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
You know, it's one thing where the ankle affects you in running the football, but also in pass protection. He goes low, and then his quarterback unexpectedly goes outside of him, so he tries to hang on to the defender. Went low on the defender, but you can't grab him around the knees.
All right, James Madison, they declined the penalty, so it's now 4th and 1. But Youngstown State, they're going to punt. Are you surprised?
Yeah, I'm surprised, and I would play very conservative if I'm James Madison right now.
Look out for the fake, you're saying?
Absolutely.
They are going to punt it away. Tony Lazat fields it on a bounce. And Lazat, all kinds of problems. He's going to be down at about the 20-yard line, just inside at about the 19. Punt of 38 yards. No return. Timeout on the field. 12:38 remaining. It is an 11-point lead for James Madison.
Shearing, enemy of engines. Enemy of shearing, Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic with adaptive molecules that continually separate and reform to help conquer the forces that can tear oil molecules apart. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
The Philips HD Flat TV with Ambilight is the only flat TV with the power to transform a mood at the touch of a button. Simplicity is a button that transforms television.
When you've got nighttime sinus problems, the agony is written all over your face. There's the unbearable pressure, the cloggy congestion, and the throbbing pain. But now, there's NyQuil Sinus. It lets you turn out the light on sinus symptoms so you can sleep. NyQuil Sinus. Good night, sinus pain. For daytime sinus relief, try non-drowsy DayQuil Sinus.
The NCAA Championships on ESPN. The NCAA Division I Football Championship, presented on ESPN2 by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. And in part by ESPN Game Plan, Maximum College Football. To order, call your pay-per-view provider or log on to ESPN.com. Search Game Plan.
Well, the lights are on here at Stambaugh Stadium here in Youngstown, Ohio. They call this facility the Ice Castle. And why not? This is where the Penguins play.
Yeah, we didn't get the cold weather that you normally get around these parts late November. And I welcome that, by the way, considering the box we're in tonight.
I was terrified. Still 51 degrees as we play the fourth quarter. James Madison up by 11. Kind of closed the door here. It goes to Holloman, and Holloman brought down. Good defensive play. Jim Phelan, first man in there to make the stop. Big old number 97. Loss of 6.
James Madison in the shortening the game mode already. Keep the ball on the ground, but now because of that negative play, they're most likely going to have to put this ball in the air. If you're going to run out the clock or start to milk the clock, you can't have minus plays.
Youngstown State, they need a stop. Scotty calls his own number, takes it up the middle, gets back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be a 3rd down and 10. Well, for a preview of every NCAA National Championship and ticket information, including the 2006 NCAA Division I Football Championship, all you have to do is go to NCAAsports.com. NCAAsports.com is the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships.
Gigantic play right here, mainly for Youngstown State, where Scotty cannot make a mistake deep in his own territory.
Quick pass, left side, incomplete. Pass was at the feet of Ardon Bransford, and it's going to be a 3-and-out. Clock stops as the punt team comes on for James Madison. Not what Mickey Matthews wanted.
No, absolutely not. Didn't want to stop the clock and didn't want to be backed up punting the football to Youngstown State. I think it shows a little bit more confidence in your defense. James Madison's defense had played much faster, much better in the second half.
Jason Pritchard punted away. Jason Perry back deep for the Penguins. High booming kick. Oh, this is a nice one. Perry retreats all the way back inside his own 25. Perry, right side, gets a nice block. Out across the 45-yard line. Good return for the senior from Cleveland. A 51-yard punt is brought back 18 yards by Perry. Well, a couple of days ago, Thanksgiving, both teams enjoyed their birds. For more on that, let's go down to Janine Edwards.
Yes, and they enjoyed them in very different ways. Actually, the Youngstown State team broke up and they went to different homes of different families here in the area. But the James Madison team, they ate dinner together at the Spotswood Country Club in Harrisonburg, Virginia at around 2:30 Thursday afternoon. And then the seniors went to Rockingham Memorial Hospital to visit children. I'll finish after the play.
Youngstown State, they need a score. Zetz wants to throw, has a man wide open. Peterson, his 8th catch of the game, all the way down to the 30-yard line, a pickup of 22. Janine, can you finish?
So, Eric, the seniors then went to Rockingham Memorial Pediatric Children's Hospital to give away Thanksgiving gifts to the kids. They said they spent about an hour and a half there. And then yesterday morning at 9 a.m., they began their 6-hour journey on their bus to come up here to Youngstown with a stop at Haas's in Bedford, PA for lunch.
Yeah, 6 hours. That's going to seem like it's a nothing trip if they could hold on to this 11-point lead. But that's in jeopardy right now as Youngstown State, a nice drive, trying to get back in this game.
As we were seeing in that highlight, a nice play once again. Zetz throwing the ball in a must throwing down. Boxley clears out. Peterson comes underneath. Very well set up and executed.
Second down at 7. Marcus Mason back in the game, deep for the Penguins. They fake to him. Sets. Peterson can't hang on. He was crunched and lost the football. Would have been a tough play, but Peterson can't hang on. Evan McCullough on coverage.
This is a very good throw. Sometimes as a quarterback, you have to throw to places you wouldn't normally want to throw to, but that time, even though the coverage was soft and underneath Peterson, Zetz knows he put the ball exactly where he intended to.
Quite possibly, this is 4-down territory for Youngstown State. They had the ball on the 27-yard line. They need to get to the 20 for the first down. Zetz, complete. Irizarry, the tight end with the grab. Pickup of 18 yards.
Watch Irizarry come across the middle. The defender right there is supposed to be Akeem Jordan, 23. Jordan got caught peeking into the backfield watching the quarterback when Irizarry was sneaking in behind him. You're in a zone, you have to cover receivers in your zone.
This has been night and day, first half to second half for Youngstown State. 4 drives in the first half, 4 scores. Nothing so far here in the second half. Deke Eisen with the carry, a pickup of 3 on first down.
We talked about it very early in the game. Red zone scoring is always important. Youngstown State is very good in the red zone offensively. They score a ton of touchdowns when they get down there, like 71%. So they need a touchdown, obviously, right here.
Zetz from the shotgun here at the 6-yard line. Rolls left to the end zone. Touchdown, Peterson! Peterson, the one man you can't leave open. And he's available for a 6-yard touchdown catch.
Yeah, defensive 101 is when a team has a go-to guy, you have to cover the go-to guy, and number 9, Peterson, is exactly that. That same pass route had been covered very well by Mickey Matthews' James Madison defense. It wasn't obviously on that play right there.
Okay, decision time. Youngstown State down by 5. They're going to go for 2 and try and make this a 3-point game. Do you agree with this right now?
Yeah, I do. You're really not behind anything. You could go down and get a touchdown.
Back of the end zone, Peterson for 2. Someone didn't read the scouting report. He's been open all game long.
What I was going to say, you can go get a touchdown if you need it later, and right now it's about a feel. His offense, Haycock's offense, has a good feel for things, so you let him get out there and do it one more time.
T.J. Peterson, his 9th catch, gets him over the 100-yard marker, and he's got a touchdown. And moments later, how about a 2-point conversion? It's a 3-point game. James Madison, they need to answer when we come back.
Find the perfect gift at Zales 1 Carat Sale, now through Sunday. Save $700 on these diamond earrings, now just $5.99. Find the perfect gift at Zales, the diamond store.
Rated mature.
Multiply your possibilities. Introducing Intel Core 2 Duo, the world's best processors.
Oh, you're home early.
What's the point? Everyone's giving all those great gifts from Home Depot this year. Oh, where's the remote?
This year, the Home Depot is the place for great gifts, like a Ryobi 1 Plus drill and circular saw combo for $49, or a rigid 12-gallon wet dry vac. It's just $27 at the Home Depot.
Introducing Wendy's Double Melt. In the middle, there's pepper jack, cheddar sauce, bacon, and jalapenos. With every double melt, receive $1 on a gift card. For flavor where it counts, do what tastes right.
The Philips Norelco Smart Touch XL adjusts to your face for a closer shave with 50% more shaving surface and 3 shaving rings in each shaving head. Philips Norelco, the world's best-selling electric shaver. Simplicity is making every stroke count.
Calories provide energy, but how much energy do you need? Powerade Option, the low-calorie sports drink.
Well, the cannon here at Stambaugh Stadium, they fire it off whenever either team scores. That thing, I hope they got a decent amount of ammunition because it has been firing often.
No question about that. We might be back up to that 52-49 thing that we've already seen.
31-28, the Dukes of James Madison up by 3. They've got the football in this return out across the 25. They will start at the 27. Transferred on that return. Let's go back to the studio and Linda Cohn. Linda.
Want to keep you posted what's going on between USC and Notre Dame over on ABC. John David Booty, you want to see one of the best catches of the year by Dwayne Jarrett. Oh, man. One-handed on the sideline. Impressive stuff. And you know what? That great catch by Jarrett set up this. Chauncey Washington. 9th touchdown of the year. Jarrett also has 2 TD catches. It's 28-10 USC.
Linda, thank you so much. John David Booty, he waited a time to get his opportunity, and he's played pretty well. This is junior season. Holloman on the ground. Good, tough running for the junior. He picks up 10 yards, maybe not. But close to the first down.
First down run by James Madison, and Holloman is that guy. You know, he has the speed to take it the distance. And for a smaller running back, I noticed on tape he's a very physical runner in traffic, and you don't normally see that.
They say he picks up just 9, so it's second down and a short 1. A lot of options, you'd imagine, for James Madison. They stay on the ground with the carry. That's Alvin Banks, and Banks with an opportunity inside the 30. And brought down at the 21-yard line. Chris Golfer finally slows him up, but not before a pickup of 43 yards.
Banks is supposed to be their versatile running back, not necessarily in the run game, but the run game and the pass game. But a very good job at the end, Eric, at staying in bounds. Every tick off the clock is very important to James Madison right now. Stay in bounds, keep the clock going.
Longest play of the game for James Madison. Holloman back in the game. Banks getting a breather on the sideline. And they go to Holloman. The JC transfer lowers his head and gets down to the 16. Well, catch a special edition of the NBA on ESPN. That's tomorrow night. The LA Clippers, they go to Mile High City to take on Carmelo Anthony and the Denver Nuggets. Nuggets, well, they knocked off the LA Clippers in the playoffs last spring. NBA Sunday Special. ESPN at 8 Eastern time tomorrow night. Also available on high definition on ESPN HD. It was actually the Clippers that knocked off the Nuggets.
I knew exactly what you meant.
I was totally trying to fool you. Making sure you're paying attention, Kelly. Great job. Good stop defensively. Behind the line of scrimmage, Jeff Koval able to bring down Holloman. Also in on the stop was James Terry.
If you're running away from Koval, you have to do a much better job of sealing the backside. He's already demonstrated that he has the speed and the desire to chase down the football. You got to seal him off if you're running away from him.
3rd down and 5. Play being changed at the line of scrimmage. Play clock down to 3. They get it off. Scotty keeps it himself, lowers his head, and he's going to be close to the first down, but I don't know. Michael Savage with the tackle. They're going to say he's short. Wow. It's 4th down.
Okay, decision time here. First of all, you call a timeout probably and talk about it. But you can go a long way to putting this one much closer to being on ice if you can pick up these few inches.
All right, it's going to be 4th down and a short one. This is a field goal of about 28, 29 yards. What do?
I put points on the board and make a touchdown beat me. James Madison has talked about their defense all year long. Make your defense stop somebody. You're obviously disagreeing with me by the way you're looking.
Well, I'm just saying there's under 5 minutes remaining in the game.
Yeah.
If you punch it in there, you get this first down, and you convert and you get a touchdown, you're up by 10 points, and then it's ultra difficult for Youngstown State to make it happen.
I understand that, yeah, I agree with it. But, I mean, I know what you're saying. I don't agree with it. I think the other way. I think that you make Youngstown State drive the football and win the game. Prove that they can do that another time. Remember, this hasn't been a passing team coming into today. Obviously, tonight they've done a tremendous job. I think you get 3 on the board, make a touchdown, beat you.
Okay, we'll see what they decide to do. Youngstown State defensively, they're back on the field, and I think they're going to have to just prepare as if they're going to have to play some defense. And it looks as if Mickey Matthews agrees with me. They're going to go for it on 4th down and 1. The field goal unit is staying on the sideline. All right, this is a gutsy call here. Trying to keep that clock moving and get a touchdown. Eugene Holloman, the deep back. Brascotti keeps it himself and dives forward. This is going to depend on the spot.
You know, it's kind of one of those left foot, right foot spots as the line judge comes onto the field. This is what I don't like, coming down to the spot of an official to determine whether my team goes on or not. But you have a big old quarterback. Your offensive line has done a nice job of playing a physical game on the line of scrimmage.
All right, this is it. And Youngstown State, they hold.
Well, there's really nothing wrong with your way of thinking until you have a play like this, Eric. And a big quarterback behind an aggressive offensive line. You really can't argue with that. If you're a team that expects to make a run for a championship, you need to be able to pick up 6 inches in the heat of the moment, and they just flat didn't do it.
Well, momentum, in case you're wondering, it is on John Haycock's side right now. Youngstown State, they could have been knocked out, but they're back up off the mat and down by just 3. Zetz wants to throw on 1st down. Passes high, looking for Derek Bush.
But this is what Youngstown State is going to have to do again. Make plays in the passing game. You can see the nice play by the tight end, number 81. The quarterback on the move. Zetz gets it into the end zone. And if you're James Madison, you may want to find number 9 in red and try to cover him on this drive.
Youngstown State, they have 3 timeouts remaining. Haven't had to burn one so far in the second half. Blitz is on. Zetz throws deep. Incomplete. Looking for Barry. It's 3rd and 10.
James Madison does a nice job of causing the fade route. Make the receiver go somewhere where it's difficult for the quarterback to drop it in there. Tight coverage, that has to be so precise, and obviously it wasn't on that play.
Do you have to get 10 yards here, or is this already 4-down territory and you have 2 downs to play with?
No, you don't have to. Yeah, you have to pick up the 1st down and you punt the football. There's still time on the clock. You still have time to get another possession.
Flag flies, and this is going to be a procedural call against Youngstown State. They took too much time. The play clock expired.
Wow.
Prior to snap, delay a game. Offense, 5 yards. Still third down.
Wow. That's huge, but a quarterback has to be decisive in situations like that. So does the offensive coordinator. Get your play in, get your team to the line of scrimmage, and give them a chance to be successful. Now it's a much more difficult task.
3rd and 15. They need to get out to the 22-yard line.
And the key matchup is down at the bottom of the screen. Number 9, Peterson, on number 20, McCullough.
Zetz from his own end zone. Throws. Peterson with the grab. Peterson beat McCullough, and they pick up the first down. A throwing catch of 31 yards.
I don't want number 20 McCullough with a bad will on the go-to receiver in this situation. Flip the sides of the field and put a different corner on number 9 Peterson. But in the end, mark the throw of Zetz. That is a championship throw right there in that situation of this game.
Clock running, we're below 4 minutes remaining. Winner takes on Illinois State in the quarterfinal round. Zetz, a check down, tried to get it to the tight end Irizarry, nobody home.
But Eric, there is still a long ways to go to drive this football. In this situation, a lot more pressure, a lot more ways to mess it up. There's still a long ways to go right here. Zetz and his receivers are going to have to get it done again. And protection. Right now, James Madison isn't getting any push with the front four. Expect them to bring more linebackers and out of the secondary somewhere on this drive.
2nd down and 10. Zetz wants to throw. Here comes the pressure. Pass is complete. Berry with the prep. Pickup of 11 yards. That'll move the sticks. Another first down.
Impeccable timing. James Madison is bringing pressure, but good timed routes and nice throws always beats pressure.
Well, John Haycock picking a great time for his junior quarterback, Tom Zetz, to have a big day. Zetz now over 300 yards. He's got 303 yards passing. They fake the handoff. Is the catch made? Rory Berry, no, they're going to call it incomplete.
He clearly gets knocked out of bounds after the catch, or maybe the officials are saying that he didn't have control of the football. He certainly didn't have a foot in bounds. And there's some nice coverage. Lazat, the safety, a very good safety, going out on the edge and playing corner.
In case you're wondering, there is no replay in the NCAA Football Championship subdivision. Pass is complete out of the backfield. Gibson with the catch and run. Pickup of 4. Hakeem Jordan with the stop. Already 2 teams from the Atlantic 10 have moved on to the quarterfinals. New Hampshire and UMass. 2 teams from the Gateway Conference have moved on, in Illinois State and Southern Illinois. Third down at 6, coming up on the 3-minute mark. Here comes the blitz. Zetz. Interference is going to be called. Peterson is hit from behind by McCullough.
And that's a very good call. McCullough does a much better job on coverage. The coverage was tied in with the pressure. When you're getting after the quarterback, you don't play soft. You take away the timing route and make him be precise. McCullough just simply gets there a little bit too early. Very well executed, good throw on time, but you can see right there, that's a clear call. McAuliffe arrived just about a half a second too early.
Pass interference, defense, number 20, 15 yards.
And that really is a shame for that young man because he had good coverage. What he needed to do is get his left hand up instead of going through the back of the receiver.
So, first down and 10, ball placed at the 33-yard line. They go to the ground for the first time in a while, and Mason stays on his feet for a while, gets down to the 30, pickup of 3.
Went to the ground, Eric, because I think at this point in time, we're approaching 240. Now you start thinking, if we get it in the end zone, we don't want to leave any time. But you can milk it down and at least have an opportunity to kick a field goal. But you don't want to do that with too much time on the clock and give Riscotti, who's been there, done that, another opportunity at winning this game.
Ryan Palmer, he's a good one. He's getting loose on the sideline for Youngstown State. Zetz to throw. Pass is complete. Peterson again loses the football, but it goes out of bounds. They're going to call it a catch and a fumble. And a good gainer for Youngstown State.
Peterson is getting a little gas, been working overtime. Good job, nice throw with pressure in Zetz's face. And again, number 9, the go-to guy. Lazat comes up and makes a nice physical tackle. Fortunate that ball went out of bounds.
It's enough for a first down. Peterson, the number's starting to pile up for him. 11 catches, and that doesn't include the catch that he made on the 2-point conversion. He has been a huge part of this offense for the Penguins.
Well, we'll see if James Madison can adjust the coverage right now to him. Even though Madison is playing zone, you have to squeeze that zone to their go-to guy, number 9.
Mason with the carry. Stood up, still fighting, gets down to the 15-yard line. Well, coming up after us at 11 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN2, it's the top-ranked Florida Gators taking on the 12th-ranked Kansas Jayhawks, Las Vegas International Tournament. Timeout is called. Youngstown State, they're driving, and they want to make sure that there's no slip-ups. They're going to talk things over. They've got a 2nd down and 3. Kelly, you've been in these huddles right now. What is the emotion? What are they talking about? What's the strategy for the Penguins?
Well, first of all, that's objective number 1 for the coach is there is a lot of emotion. So you have to make eye contact and get the attention of the guys that you're trying to coach. And what you're telling them from an offensive standpoint right now, worst case scenario, where we are in the field, we line up and kick a game-tying field goal. If we can do more than that, that's icing on the cake, but we do not want to mess it up and get nothing right here.
In a situation like this, Youngstown State, do they want to leave it up to a field goal kicker? A lot of things can go wrong with a snap, with a hold, with a kick.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in an ideal case scenario, you don't want to do that because you're right. There are a lot of moving parts that you just mentioned, and any one of them can go wrong. And then in the end, the field goal kicker can just get the yips and yank one. You don't want to leave it up to the kicker, regardless of how good he is. So they'll try to get in the end zone, but you always do that with the quarterback in particular, knowing the worst case scenario, we have an opportunity to tie this game up.
Second down and 3. Youngstown State still with 2 timeouts remaining. In case you're wondering, James Madison, they have just 1 timeout. They had to burn 2 earlier in the second half. Hand off to Mason. First down and more. Pushed out of bounds inside the 10.
You know, Eric, one of the things that I love about this level of football is guys like Marcus Mason. He has a bad will. He's been hobbling all around the field, but 2 plays in a row now. It was the second effort on the play before, and then they give it to him again, and you wouldn't know the young man is hurt. They're going to the guy who got him in this position, number 23, Mason.
That was his longest run of the game, a 9-yard run. Pushed out of bounds, so the clock is stopped. Peterson, the man in motion. They give it again to Mason. Inside the 5 to the 1. And now.
Yeah, James Madison is going to call a timeout, but this is the hard running. Look at the second effort right here by a guy that can hardly walk back to the huddle. It's right there. It's getting every inch out of it. Why? Because it's important to him and it's important to his team at this point in time in this game.
So Mickey Matthews uses his team's last timeout. They cannot stop the clock anymore, but I think he wants to preserve as much time as possible because it looks like the inevitable is that Youngstown State is at least going to score a field goal here.
Yeah, it's one of those, do we let them get in the end zone right here? You know, it's one of those kind of things so we have a little time to work with. That's happened at the next level in the NFL a time or two. Let a team get in the end zone so we have time to work when we get our offense back out there. Obviously, you don't recommend it. You hope that you can come up with a negative play if you're James Madison. Youngstown State isn't going to give them time. They're not taking the ball off the line of scrimmage, charge straight ahead and try to get in the end zone.
Well, while we think about strategy, let's go back to the college football studio in Tacoma.
Okay, guys, just a reminder. Little college hoop coming your way, 11 Eastern here on ESPN2. That's Brandon Rush of Kansas. He's getting ready to face top-ranked Florida. It's the Las Vegas Invitational coming up 11 Eastern next.
Linda, thank you so much. Well, remember, this drive began back on the 12-yard line. Youngstown State, a big stop. They stopped James Madison on 4th and 1 to take over possession. Mason, left side, touchdown, Penguins! .88 yards and 3:29. Palmer, the extra point, up and good. And that was a pivotal extra point because instead of a 3-point lead, it's now a 4-point lead. Youngstown State, they did their part. James Madison, they've got a little over a minute to keep their season alive.
Enjoying Guinness Draft in a sports bar is a great idea.
Yes, and I've taken the liberty of ordering us some hot wings.
Hot wings? Brilliant! That wasn't too bad.
Please enjoy Guinness Draft responsibly.
A little black dress is always in style, but even a little dandruff shows. My old dandruff shampoo wasn't into black, so I switched to Selsun Blue.
Doctor recommended for flakes and itch with aloe moisturizers for healthier hair and scalp.
Never wear black without the...
Who would have thought? Youngstown State with 15 unanswered points in the last 6:54 of this game. Now they need a defensive stop. Marcus Mason pulling himself up off the mat.
He's been the workhorse the vast majority of the attempts on the year, and there he hits pay dirt. But it was the impressive second effort plays before on a bad will that set that drive apart for me.
Winner of this game moves on to take on the Illinois State Redbirds in the quarterfinals of the Division I football championship. Scotty McGee with the ball. He's already returned one for a score. McGee out across the 30. Brought down from behind at the 34-yard line. Good starting field position for James Madison.
What happened to the pooch punt, or the pooch kick? This might have been a great time for it. Remember, McGee took one 99 yards. There's a lot of running room right there. Very well blocked. Not a great decision for McGee to bounce it outside.
All right, here it is. James Madison. They need a quick score, but they are capable of doing it. Down 4. They need a touchdown. A field goal does them no good. Pass is complete. Baker doesn't go out of bounds. Oh, they're going to say he did. He barely got out of bounds.
He reaches at the very end. Wasn't a great decision, but it was a great play at the end of it. Yards after the catch is what Baker is known for. This isn't a time for that. Bounce out of bounds. You almost cost your team dearly.
Seconds remaining. Riscotti with 5 receivers in the pattern. Pulls it down, takes it himself. First down and more. Eyes in the back of his head, gets out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Good run by the senior. Pickup of 12 yards.
Yeah, picks up the first down. He likes to keep the play alive and keep his head downfield, but when he becomes a runner, he's a very good runner. You talked about eyes in the back of his head. If he didn't see that defender, he was going to get knocked out. That defender was peeling back, and right at the very end, Riscotti caught eye of him.
That play took off 11 seconds from the clock. Riscotti, incomplete. Ball dropped by Baker. Maybe a good thing. He wasn't going to get out of bounds. The clock would have rolled.
You're right. He wasn't going to get the first down. The clock would have kept going. But that's the third drop with Baker. You know, he hasn't had a great night, but this is a time when number 3, Baker, needs to rise to the occasion. His team most likely needs a big play, and it can very easily come by number 3 right there.
Riscotti, incomplete, this time looking for D.D. Boxley. Third down and 10.
Wow, when you want to win a championship, you have to make plays like the one before and like this one. Right at number 82, Boxley, you have to come down with that convert. Obviously, in this time of the game, you have to keep moving the chains.
Youngstown State, they have won 12 consecutive postseason games here at Stambaugh Stadium. Trying to make it 13 in a row. Riscotti wants a bunch, has a man! Incomplete! L.C. Baker had it, and then had the ball taken away from him by Vince Gliata.
What a tremendous throw. Would have been an outstanding catch. The 5'7" receiver Baker goes up, tries to make a play. Gliata comes in right at the last minute and blows that thing up. Wow, that would have been something to come down with.
All right, this is the season for James Madison. 4th down and 10 for the Dukes. National champions just 2 years ago. And a timeout by Youngstown State. Wow, so Youngstown State, they're going to give James Madison some time to talk about it by calling that timeout.
You know, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. It wasn't planned, obviously, by the reaction of the head coach. He's pulling somebody out of the game, and it's Froelich right there, 36, because he wasn't, he's obviously the one that Haycock has pinpointed as not being lined up correctly. But it's somewhat like the last second shot in basketball.
Seconds remaining. James Madison, they need to get to the 36-yard line or this game is over. Rascotti with time. Still with time. Wants to run for it. Needs the 36. He's not going to get there. And that'll do it. Youngstown State, they won't even need to snap the football.